Misfit Toys.
Hold on. You're a mom
Morning, sunshine.
and a daughter and a boss and the bill payer, baker, and everyone's appointment maker?
Okay, Mom, I'm ready.
That's a lot. So adding and student might feel daunting. But what if a school could be there for all of you? Career, family, finances, and mental health. Well, it can. National University, supporting the whole you. Learn more at nu.edu.
Skill, knack, flair, craft, ability, aptitude, expertise, genius, gift.
I'm the fucking talent.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Look at me doing a show, right? You're thinking to yourself, is that Mike? Is he doing a show? Well, it is, and I am. I've answered both of these questions. Look at this. In the first 5 seconds, I've answered all your questions. I don't know who you think you are. We're coming to me with a laundry list of things that you want to know. And it's not really, it's the first 5 seconds of me talking. All right, I'm going to yawn. I apologize. Fuck. Get used to it. I don't know why. Well, I know why, because my body is falling apart. Because I'm an old man who doesn't sleep, or then sleeps forever. Yeah, that's the choice. Nobody gets a healthy amount of sleep anymore, at least in my apartment. Either we sleep 3-hour cat naps at a time, or we sleep a good 13 hours. Oh, I got to be honest. I got flannel sheets on my bed right now, and boy, oh boy, that's a 13-hour sleep that you can't. Sometimes I don't even move. I got a bad right shoulder. Because I don't move. I lay on my right shoulder when I sleep, and then I wake up, and my shoulder's just like, what the fuck, man? You piled on and crushed me. And I'm like, hey, shoulder, I shouldn't have given you a mouth. It's weird that I have a shoulder with a mouth. I don't know if it's a Quato. It might be a weird twin. I don't know. But look, if your shoulder has a mouth. But I will tell you this. My shoulder has a mouth. And oftentimes I will date a lady, and she will make out with my shoulder mouth. Oh, isn't that attractive? Put that thought in your brain. Just me, and then I gotta admit, I get a little jealous. I'm just like, hey, I know it's part of me and stuff like that, but I mean, I'm pretty decent at that too. And she's like, I don't care. I'm over here with the shoulder mouth, and then I'm sitting there, and then they're taking care of business, and I have to go through it. There's nothing I can do. I just have to sit there and wait for my shoulder mouth to finish up, or for her to finish up, and then say it was nice meeting you. To me, shake my hand, and then kiss shoulder mouth on the mouth. Kiss his shoulder mouth right there on the shoulder mouth. Boy, I'm shoving a show in your ears, and I've got a shoulder mouth happening. God damn, this is an aggressive show early on. All right, let's just do plugs. Here's the thing. I'm not going to belabor the point and bore you guys with a bunch of stuff that I'm going to talk. Here, how weird is that? Already. Look, I got to apologize for the fucking show that I did with Lily. All right, because we did it. It's a skull scraper. You know how that is. When we go in and we're like, what happened to you, Mike? One of those shows. And so you may just think to yourself, well, I don't want to fucking hear this guy. And you'll turn it off, and that's fine. And I don't blame you. I'm getting out ahead of this right now. I'm giving you the heads up. I'm giving you a warning. Like Incubus would do. I'm giving you a warning. It's your eyes, girl. Right? Is that warning? Warning. Called out a warning. Warning. I can't do Incubus. But that's a great song. Incubus is a great. That's what's the name of that song? Morning Dawns. The Dawning of Morning. I don't know. I like that album. You know what's funny? My buddy John, who's my trainer at the gym when I can go to the gym, he loves Incubus. I didn't know this. I found out these little snippets about him. I find it endlessly interesting. Because Incubus is not, in your brain, you're just like, well, Incubus is nobody's favorite band. And I don't know if they're really John's favorite band, but I know he loves them. And that's pretty cool. It's like if you had a friend and all of a sudden they were just like, you know who I really love? The Wallflowers. And you'd be like, what the fuck? They had one song. And they're like, oh no, you got to do a deep dive in the Wallflowers. So many good songs. And I'm like, I don't know, man. That one headlight pretty much started and ended the Wallflowers for me. And they're like, no, you wouldn't believe it, man. There's a song on side 2 of their 4th album. 4 albums? What the fuck? Are you kidding me? How the fuck did the Wallflowers get 4 albums? I know he's a Dylan, but Jesus Christ, that seems weird. They had one song. But with Spotify and with music, I discover all these different musics, and I realize there are bands out there that are just that I've never heard of and I don't know about, and there are people who love them. Oh my God, do people love them? But also that's part of getting old. You know, I wouldn't want to be, I have a decent breadth of knowledge regarding music and bands, but like I couldn't tell you that, you know, who's like, I mean, I know names just from the zeitgeisty fucking bullshit you see on Twitter and stuff, but I mean, I don't know anybody who's a giant band right now, you know, on my touchstone. Well, I mean, I guess, although I talked about it with Lily, a couple weeks ago, when Lizzo has like $36 million house. I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And again, it's just because you know, I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve it. I'm saying that I just don't know that people make that kind of money for one song. Because I know one song. I know the song Lizzo stole from the fucking Black Beatles, the Ray Drummers. All right, hi. Now I'm repeating myself, so let's not do that. Let's go ahead and move into the plugs, right? Because again, usually I sit here and I just talk and I do these fucking circuitous bullshit things and I go, hey, listen to this and that. I've already done a show with our great friend Lily, and you want to go ahead and hear that, right? Don't you want to go ahead and just dive into that? I think you probably do. So I'll just go ahead and do some plugs here up top, and then I'll save you from me yawning and rehashing more bullshit. But again, I warn you, the show I did with Lily, it is a lot of. At one point she tells me I'm haunted because again I try to explain how my brain works, and she's just like, I don't even get you. But there's some funny in it, I promise. If you want to listen to part of it. Give it a chance. Give me a chance. Give Peace a chance as well, but first give me a chance. Here's what I say. Give me a chance, and if that doesn't work, give Peace a chance. Not that I'm the antithesis of peace, but I'm assuming you only have so many chances to give, and I am a person so in need of a chance, more than the concept of peace. The concept of peace has been getting chances for a long fucking time, and you know what? It hasn't stuck. It hasn't stuck in the micro. It hasn't stuck in the macro. Whether it's a street fight or a world war, peace is losing at every turn. So you know what? Stop giving peace the fucking chance. And go ahead and reach out to a cat like me. Because apparently Sammy Davis Jr. has briefed me on how to talk at a podcast. Reach out to me and give me all the chances. Because I deserve these chances. That's who I am. I'm a guy who needs chances. I need so many chances, I may change my name to Chance. Chance was a name for a while. I don't think it's a new name anybody does now, but I mean, back in the 50s, there were guys like, you know, Chance Reynolds and guys like that. That's a fucking cool ass name, Chance. Or is that, you know, or their names like maybe Charlie, and then people called them Chance, and then it stuck. I don't know. Because here's the thing I will tell you. I have friends named Rich, okay? And whenever I communicate with them, which is rarely, because they're not in my inner circle, but they're either someone I knew a long time ago growing up, or somebody who I know as a comedian, you know what I mean? I call them Ripper. Now, I knew a guy named Rich who we all called Ripper when I was a kid. My buddy, I told you, he played Mr. Fireman, and a long story, my buddy Pete's little brother. But now, whenever I meet a Rich, I call them Ripper. And they never go, what are you calling me that for? They just kind of accept it, I suppose. But at the same time, if somebody called me Ripper and meant it, I'd be like, God damn, this is fucking beautiful. Look at me under the name Ripper, not even doing anything. I'm a Rich or a Richard, but go ahead. Because again, what's the alternative there? Dick. No one wants to be called that. Richard is fine. Although Richard, my brother Andy, would often make Richard an insult like Dick. Like instead of calling somebody a dick, he'd be like, Richard. He would just say that when somebody did something shitty. He'd be like, it's fucking Richard. And it made me laugh every time he did it. So I enjoyed that. Maybe that's why I pivoted to Ripper, because in my brain, Richard is also that. But I got a buddy named Rich who I grew up with, and he's rich. But I still call him Ripper when I send him an email note on Facebook. I'm the oldest man alive. Truly, there's no doubt. But I'm no Ripper because I've got, you know what? Because I have a name like Mike that doesn't need to be clarified with a nickname. I don't need to be a Mickey or a Mikey or a Big M. What if I was a Big M? Maybe we pivot to that now. Maybe we pivot to Big M Schmidt. Clearly, we do not do that. But if you're a Richard, for me, you're a Ripper. And I'm going to call you a Ripper. And if you want to fight me on it, go ahead. But also at the same time, I got to be honest, I'm going to stand down because I'm not going to fight a guy named Ripper. That's a good way to get your ass beat. All right. Guys, let's do Cameo plugs, right? Because I'm on Cameo. And this is the kind of stuff I do on Cameo. I just talk about dumb shit. I just saw some woman, another comedian, and she's like, hey, man, I'm on Cameo, and my Cameos last anywhere from 2 to 35 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you tell people that? Because at that point, if you say, hey, man, because that's a big parameter, all right? And I do this shit with you guys, too, where I tell you, sometimes I talk, it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 15 minutes. I don't even know. It's all over the place. But you paint yourself into a corner when you say it's anywhere from 2 to 35 minutes. Because if you say that, and then somebody buys one, and then you send them a 2-minute cameo, they're going to be like, what the fuck? I wasn't worth the other 33 minutes you advertised? There was no way you could reach out and tell those stories or whatever the fuck, or talk about... And I mean, look, if you're just selling podcasts, I guess that's one thing, personalized podcasts, and that's not a bad idea. I'm happy to do it. And I've done it. I did it for my buddy Sean a couple of weeks ago, or whatever the fuck. But it's just this woman who, I got to be honest, I don't want to say anything. I've said too much. Because I'm trying to be, here's the thing, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to remember that everybody has a life and they're very nice. And I can't sit here and be like, why are you getting this? Or who does that? You know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy. You want to just concern yourself with your own life. But when I saw this person say 2 to 35 minutes, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Again, as I've stated, you've painted yourself into a real corner, because if you start giving out like fucking even 5 minutes, people will be like, where's the other half hour? What the fuck? And I don't even know what this person was charging. I just saw their thing on Facebook, and good for them. I mean, look, you're worth whatever anybody pays you. That's what I always say when people talk about Beanie Babies and baseball cards. Oh, these are valuable. It's like, nah, not really. They're garbage until somebody buys them. I mean, if you got a fucking goddamn box full of felt and BBs, you could be like, well, I should throw this out, until somebody comes along and goes, oh, I love that spotted cow. He was one of a kind. I'll give you $11 for it. Ba-bing. And now you're doing business. Now you're making moves. You got baseball cards. You're like, Jesus Christ, I got to toss this in the garbage. And then someone calls you up and goes, wait a minute, do you have a 1970 Bill Verdon Manager of the Year card? And you'd be like, of course. And then they'd buy that for $5. Please don't fact check me. I have no idea if Bill Verdon was Manager of the Year in 1970. I just know that the Pirates were good around that time, and he may have been the manager. I will say this. I think he may have been the Manager of the Year in 1980 when the Houston Astros played the Phillies in the playoffs. Bill Verdon. Look at a lot of Bill Verdon talk today. Got to be honest, did not expect to bring Bill Verdon back from the grave for this show. And I know you're like, well, Bill Verdon's not dead. And I'm like, oh, really? Look it up. Go look it up. Because I got news for you. If he was Manager of the Year in 1980, that's 42 fucking years ago. And back then, you know, they hired guys that were just human tobacco plugs. Like here now, they've got all these clean-cut hot guys that get told what to do by a general manager with a binder, right? That's who the managers are these days. They hire young dudes. But back in my day, you had guys named Whitey. That's who got hired as a manager. And he was, you know, or Sparky. There's a guy on Twitter who keeps posting pictures of Sparky Anderson, who was a manager of the Cincinnati Reds Big Red Machine in the 70s. And then he went on to manage the Detroit Tigers for a long time, including winning the World Series in 1984 with a team that won like 115 games or something like that. It was crazy. I think they won their first 23 of their first 24 or some bullshit. I don't even know. They were a fucking machine. That was the Jack Morris Tigers. That's the Larry Herndon Tigers. That's the Alan Trammell Lou Whitaker Tigers. So in 84, they won the World Series. Anyway, and that's the Kevin Saucier Tigers, if you want me to say so. It's the Lance Parrish Tigers. Lance Parrish was a badass. All right. And then the Phillies signed him, and I'm like, yeah, Lance Parrish, but it turned out he'd been catching forever, and so his back was all falling apart. I think he had a decent year for the Phils. I'll have to check it out. Who cares? Nobody cares. Jesus Christ. Click. I hear you hanging up phones all over America. I don't know why you're listening to this on a phone. Now that I say it, I don't know any idea. What if you did? What if you got this show via a phone? Oh, and not like playing it like a podcast on your phone. I mean, like, ring. Hey, what's happening? All right. So this guy keeps putting up pictures of Sparky Anderson, right? And Sparky Anderson, like I said, he was a manager in the 70s. So he puts up a picture of Sparky Anderson. He goes, Sparky Anderson, and I know why he's doing it, but it's funny to me every time he does. He'll be like, Sparky Anderson, age 41. And Sparky Anderson, it looks like he's on death's door. I mean, he's weather beaten, and his hair is white, and he's wrinkled, and he's smiling. I mean, he had a good life. You know, everything was great. He was a manager for a long time, and he made a lot of money, and he planted a lot of tomatoes. He was fucking awesome. And he was a fantastic manager. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. Should be if he's not. But holy macaroni, he just keeps... It's Sparky Anderson, age 44, and then he just looks gnarled. He's holding like a walking stick. You know what I mean? He's just completely fallen out of the realm of anybody who could get around or be ambulatory. And he's only in his mid-40s. And I don't know, I don't know what Sparky did. I don't know if he lived a hard life. Maybe he's got a biography I can read somewhere. Hey, Google that for me. Somebody send me a note. Send me a note about Bill Verdon. And then reach out and tell me something about Sparky Anderson. Let's talk about old managers. Let's do it. Let's talk about the Pope, Paul Owens for the Phillies. Let's talk about Danny Ozark. He managed the Phillies in the 70s. All right. This is the kind of knowledge that won me a game show. I know all of this dumb bullshit. Hey, who's Tommy Lasorda? Oh, he's a manager of the Dodgers. He's Tommy the Dodger. He's what was his nickname? Fat Tommy? Probably not. He'd be mad at that. All right. I saw him in at a clubhouse. He's dead now, but a couple years ago when our great friend Jeremy brought me to a game. Why am I even talking? All right, shut up. Do the fucking promos. Cameo. Did you know that I'm on there? I am. I guarantee you I will not do a 35-minute cameo for you. How about that? That's my selling point. I might do a 2-minute. All depends on what you want. You know what I mean? And look, but I will say this. If somebody said to me, hey, man, I'll give you this X amount of money to do a 35-minute fucking cameo, I got to admit, I'd probably do it. And by the way, that's not even, I don't say I got to admit I'd probably do it. Fuck you. I'd do it. I mean, why am I even pretending to be like a choice? I'm at a point now where I'm like, hey, man, fucking offer me money and I'll do it. I don't give a shit. Once again, folks, we're up against it, and nobody likes being up against it. And I talk about this a little bit with Lily and whatever the fuck. You know what I'm doing today, besides this podcast? You know what else I'm doing today? Dudes, I'm going to a job fair. Yep. And I laugh ruefully, all right? And I'm not saying, oh, man, jobs are bad or whatever the fuck. Everybody should have a job. It's fantastic. And good for everybody who works. And I want to work as well because I need some sort of meaning or structure in my life. But what I'm mad about is the fact that it's a job fair, okay? Because I applied at a place. And this place was like, hey, man, we'll let you know in 3 weeks. Well, all right, well, there's a couple of things. This place has many locations. It's fucking Trader Joe's. I'll just tell you. So I applied at on their website. Okay, you have to apply, right? And it makes you pick a location. Now, I just wanted to fill out an application and have all of the Trader Joe's just get into a bidding war. Oh, this is the guy we need, man. Let's scoop this guy up off the street. That's a guy who can tow a pallet and face a shelf. All right, so I picked the one that had just opened by my house. Like, there's one that's been open for like 2 months. And in my brain, I'm like, well, they got to need people, right, over there? And it's like a mile from my house. It's not far at all. Apartments, don't fucking yell at me. So in my brain, I'm like, all right. So I applied there. I was like, all right, cool. I'll fill out my application, and I sent it in. And then you get an email back from them, and like, all right, we'll let you know in 2 weeks what we're going to do. And I'm like, what does that even mean? So you have to just wait till they contact you. And mine didn't last 2 weeks. It lasted 3 weeks, unfortunately, because again, this has all been in motion for a while, guys. I get a note, I get an email, and it was in the middle of the night too, which was fucking weird. I was like, is a bot sending this? But it was 3 weeks later. And I opened the email. I'm like, oh, cool, they're scheduling something. And I open it up, and it just says, hi, thank you for your interest. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, but at this time, we don't feel that we'll be interviewing you. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And they're like, thank you very much. We appreciate your interest, and we will keep you on file. So, guys, guess what? I got that going for me. I'm on file over at the Trader Joe's close to my house. Like, if I went in there to shop, I wonder if they'd go, oh, look at that guy. That guy's on file. Would they know it? Would they feel it? Am I marked for death? Am I marked forever? So then I'm pissed. I won't, me. I can't, because I can't ever just be like, oh, okay. I'm mad because in my brain I'm like, just talk to me. Could you just talk to me? All you got to do, and also, a buddy of mine just got a job at Trader Joe's. And in my brain, I'm like, wait a minute. He literally got an email within 2 weeks, and then he did a phone interview. They called him in and they hired him on the spot. Like, they fucking loved him. And that's great because he's awesome. But at the same time, in my brain, I'm like, I'm kind of awesome. Like, if you talk to me, that'd be pretty cool. And also, you can't look. I didn't put anybody off in my application or whatever the fuck. There's no way I didn't fill out. Look, if you meet me and you're like, this guy, I don't like the vibes on this guy. Okay. But if you read some fucking static print on the goddamn computer screen, who's deciding whether you like me or not? It just seems ridiculous. And also, I didn't get a chance to sell myself at all. There's a little box where they're like, hey, what do you think of us and groceries or whatever the fuck? And you're like, all right, you know what I love? Lettuce. You just got to, you got to put your best punch forward, I suppose. But it wasn't enough, because not only did they not contact me within 2 weeks, they didn't contact me within 3 weeks. And then I was like, motherfucker. So then my buddy's like, well, just keep applying. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, there's got to be other places that need you. So I go onto I go to Trader Joe's and I apply at 4 more. All right. Like one that's here in the valley. There's 2 in the valley and 2. I had to apply for 2 in Hollywood. All right. Nothing wrong with that. But I mean, I'd prefer to work close to my house, I suppose. And look, I've driven, but I don't give a shit. I need money. So I'm like, whoever the fuck, that's fine. So I said, I do all those applications, because then you just feel, I'll tell you what, you feel, I already got rejected by one close to my house. Then I'm like, what are these 4 looking for? What am I possibly going to do to fucking rope these guys in? So I fill out 4 more. And 2 days later, I get an email from one of them. And it says, hey, contact, and I got a text too, which was even better. And they're like, contact us for a phone screening. And I'm like, this is it. Here we go. And it's one of the ones in Hollywood, and I got no issue with that. That's fine. I want to go. As long as, look, let me sell myself to you. As long as I get to speak to them, I think, look, I've sold some of you people on me. I'm selling Cameo right now. And some of you are thinking to yourself, oh, I got to get that for Christmas. Probably. The gift of me. Oh my God. Give the gift of me. So I'm like, all right, I got to do this, whatever the fuck, sign up. So they phone screening, and I'm like, I'm very excited, right? So I call them, and I get this woman on the phone, and I go, hi, you know what? I got a text saying that I should call for a phone screening to get work. And she goes, okay, can you hold on a second? I said, sure. She puts me on hold, and then she comes back and she says, hey, what's your name? And I said, Mike Schmidt. She goes, okay. And she's looking. You know, I'm not finding you in our system. I said, okay. I literally just got a text. So clearly the phone number at least is in there. She goes, well, what's the phone number? And I told her the phone number. She goes, can you hold? Yeah, I can. Goes away. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So she comes back a third time and she goes, hi. She goes, what'd you say your name was again? I said, Mike Schmidt. She goes, could it be Michael? Now, you know me, and you know what I want to say in that moment. You know all the things I want to say in that moment, because also I'll tell you what, if you've got a Michael Schmidt that has the phone number that I gave you, odds are good it's me. I'm just going to say this right now, and I probably shouldn't be saying this because now they're going to listen to the show and be like, we can't hire this guy. But it was silly to me, and so I just went, yeah, because there's nothing I can do. I can't be a smart ass, and I don't want to be a smart ass. I want to get a gig. So I'm like, you know what? Probably it could be under Michael. And she goes, okay. Oh yeah, you're right here. And I said, great. And I said, so what do I need? And she goes, well, I'm going to tell you that in 2 weeks we have a job fair. You can attend. It'd be from 9 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I go, all right, when would I come in? And do I get to book an appointment? She goes, no, just come in whenever you want. And we're seeing people that day, and then just make sure you drop in then. And I said, oh, okay. So I don't need to talk to him? She goes, no, we'll see you then. And she hangs up. So now in my brain, I'm like, all right, look, that's almost worse than getting an email that they don't want to talk to me. Because again, a job fair, you know, if I'm looking for a job, then I'll go in and talk to people and possibly get a job. But a job fair, that just, even the phrasing of it, like, is there a Ferris wheel? Like, do I have to have a fucking funnel cake? What the fuck, man? Because you walk in, I'm sure there's going to be some name tag bullshit. I'm trying not to be relentlessly negative, and again, they may listen to this fucking thing. So, but I've already buried myself at this point. But I mean, these were my instincts, but I can't wait to get the gig because I'm so good with people. So, sure enough, I in my brain, I go, wait a minute, maybe she was wrong, because I got a text like right away from these people. It doesn't seem like that would be just to tell me there was a job fair. It seems odd. So I go, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'll wait maybe, and I'll call again tomorrow and see if I can speak to somebody differently. So then, I'm not joking, 2 hours later, I get an email from this place literally saying, hey, We want to set up a phone screening with you for your job. So we sent you a text. So go ahead and this is an email to follow up. So if you'd like to set up a phone screening with us, we are interested in hearing from you. Give us a call. So now I'm like, oh, clearly she made an error then, obviously. So now here's the email. So now I'm really excited because I'm like, all right, so the text was that, but now here's the email and they're totally reaching out. And they look, you know what? Everybody wants to be wanted. And clearly these people want me if they're texting me and emailing me in the same span of time, like 4 hours or whatever the fuck. So I call immediately. And I get a gentleman on the phone. He's like, hi. And I said, hey, you know what? I just received an email telling me that I can set up a phone screening with you guys. And it said that they wanted to do it, as soon as possible. He goes, great. Let me tell you that we have a job fair coming up on December 15th. And I went, okay. I go, but the email said to set up a phone screening now. He goes, well, here's what we're doing. We're seeing everybody on the 15th. I go, do I have to set an appointment? He goes, no, man, just come and walking in anytime between these hours. And I'll tell you right now, we may even hire some people on the spot that day. And I'm like, all right. Yeah, I understand it. And I know this is the way you're doing things. And it's that thing where I feel like Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights, where you're just like, give me the tapes. We get a tapes. We're going to get a record deal. We're that fucking good, man. And the dude is like, this is not an MP. This is a YP. It's not my problem. It's your problem. It's not their problem that I need a job like fucking 3 weeks ago. It's not their problem that I, need cash or money or moolah or simoleons or dinero or whatever the fuck. They do things the way they do things. And this is, maybe this is also some sort of Zen test to see how you handle working for the company. If you can calm down without going on your podcast and ranting about it like a fucking chimp. So I've got that to look forward to today. I'm putting the show out for you today on Thursday, December 15th, and you'll be hearing it. Perhaps while you're listening to this right now, I'm nervously sitting in a waiting room, holding some sort of paper application and wearing a fedora, trying to get a job like an upstanding guy, like a grocery Willy Loman. just sitting there talking about how much I enjoy frozen peas. Oh, Christ. I'm literally have tears in my eyes laughing at that. That's funny. Grocery Willy Loman is my new guy. I want to be him. Just fucking totally schlepping, slumped shoulders, carrying a box of crackers with him everywhere so no one asks him questions. Oh, man. I'm overtired, I think. All right. Just me stacking green beans. That's how you do it. And again, I know you hear this and you think you hear the fucking poison dripping from my tongue and the vitriol in my fucking throat. And it's not that. It's not. It's more an indictment of myself. All right. I understand how the world works, but when you hit 55, I got other people who are trimming their lawns and shit and looking at fucking brochures to go to Venice. And I'm just like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and figure out just how many fucking different jars of mayonnaise I can fit on this shelf. Holy shit. Hey man, I gotta get some fiddle faddle or jingle jangle or whatever the fuck you guys call it and put it on a shelf. Sorry. Alright, so I got a job fair to go to today, and it's gonna be great. I can't wait. Be freshly shaved and looking clean, and I'm gonna walk in and be there with people who are 30 years younger than me. It's going to be like when I go back to stand-up, because that's another plan I have. Oh, boy, brace yourselves. Look at me with plans. I got a list. I got plans. 2023 is going to be interesting. I'm excited about it. We'll see. But I have goals and plans. Let's see if they all come to fruition. Will they? Who knows? But I can tell you this. When they start, when you book me for a cameo, oh, my Christ, that's right. Hook me up with a cameo, friends, so I can have gas money to go to and from my new shelf stocking gig. I'm excited for it, and I want to go ahead and get a cameo. You know what? Here's the thing. Maybe I'll film your cameo somewhere in the break room. Won't that be exciting? As I sit on a giant stack of chairs eating a sandwich because the man gave me a half hour for sustenance. Oh, I know I sound like I'm insane. I'm being silly. I'm just being silly. And I'll film cameos from the break room. Oh, won't that be grand? And you'll see the rules on the wall. Oh, Christ. All right. So, my mom got catastrophically injured in a break room. I don't know if I should joke about it. My mom literally, that's why I said it's sitting on a stack of chairs. My mom was sitting on a stack of chairs and, they toppled over and she broke her fucking back. Fucking broke vertebrae in her back. So see, I tell you what, so taking a break is no joke. I'm sitting here laughing and stuff, talking about cameos in the break room. It's a dangerous place. So hire me, right? I'll spin yarns. I'll tell tales, tall ones even, if you'd like. So go ahead and hire me at Cameo. Bookcameo.com is the website. Or you can get the Cameo app on your phone. That's a bonus. Go ahead and put that on there and fucking look me up. Millions of other people are on Cameo. And by the way, when you look me up on Cameo, I would look under Mike Schmidt, but also if you don't find it there, look under Michael, because there's just a chance that I'll come up in there as well. So please go ahead and make sure you take a look. Also, I love the unbelievably inflated self-importance that I have, thinking they would listen to my podcast if they were going to hire me. Like they would, in any moment of the interview or them considering me, they'd go, well, we better give this guy stuff a listen. They could not care less. They're going to meet me and be like, hey, this is a nice guy. Although maybe they will tune me up because, again, they might be seeing if I'm like, if I say terrible things. You know what I mean? I don't know. Did I say any terrible things yet? God, I hope not. I'd hate to eliminate myself before I even walk in to see the fucking two clowns at the job fair. How you doing? Why don't you get in the minimum wage dunk booth? Oh my Christ. Has anybody ever been fired from a job they didn't have? Anybody listening to this would think I was insane. I'm not even joking. I know I come off just laughing at my own bullshit and stuff. People are just like, this guy's fucking crazy. And I guess I kind of am, but holy fuck. That made me laugh. I go to the job fair and I climb into the minimum wage dunk booth. Holy Christ. Some fucking fire eater is going to beat me out for a breadstocking job. All right. Book Cameo, man. Hire me, right? I'm there. I'm ready to go. Put me on a shelf. All right. What else, man? Oh, we have sponsors. I should talk about that before I start talking about myself, although I guess I've already talked about myself. We have the lovely Fearful Jesuit. He's an amazing person. He just does an incredible podcast called The Paranoid Strain Podcast, which you can go ahead and find him wherever your finer podcasts are purveyed or put out there for you to listen to. He does incredible work all the time. Fantastic stuff. Him and Dana Unicorn. And they are right now, they are fucking femur deep in the fucking satanic panic, and tearing it apart and exposing it from the inside out, giving you all of the information that you could possibly need about this. They are fantastic. And as I've said many times before, it is the polar opposite of this show, because this show, I'm just yammering, but they are concise, they are pointed, they are well written, they are edited and professional, and they are just fantastic to listen to. It is our great friend Fearful Jesuit, the lovely Dana Unicorn, who's also talented. I don't mean to just pigeonhole her as lovely. You know what? Let's flip it. The lovely Fearful Jesuit, the extremely talented Dana Unicorn, bringing you the Paranoid Strain Podcast, available now wherever you find the best podcasts in the world. The Apple Podcast space, Spotify, I'm sure Amazon carries it as well. All of these fine places you can hear the voice of Fearful Jesuit and his faithful sidekick wearing a cape and a mask, the lovely Dana Unicorn. Oh, let's all close our eyes and think about Dana Unicorn in a mask. Oh, yeah, that's good. I like it. Just like one of those Robin masks right over her eyes. Yeah. Okay. That's weird and gross. And I want to meet her and shake her hand one day and tell her she's terrific at what she does. And then she's going to, and also again, now it's just like the establishment with the job fair. I'm assuming she's going to listen to the podcast and be like, yeah, no, I don't want to shake your hand. You breathed into a microphone while talking about me in a mask. I may have said worse in the past about her. That's not good. That's also not a bad advertisement for my show, right? To say that I've said worse things about ladies. What a fucking dick. All right. The Paranoid Strain Podcast. Go download it today, please. I want you to do it. It's available wherever the finer podcasts are. Subscribe and actually write them a note if you want to write them a note. You want to make a review? Put a review in the old iTunes podcast store space, whatever they fucking call it. Talk about how much you love it, because that helps Jesuit reach out and touch someone. Reach out and just say thank you. And he wants to do all of those things for all of you. So go ahead, put a review. I'm sorry, I'm disturbed because somebody upstairs is like, it's like they're running a train. I don't know what the fuck is happening. It keeps rolling across the floor back and forth. Like he's on roller skates. You know what I mean? Like he literally made his breakfast in the kitchen and he rolled it out to the bedroom. I don't know. So if you can't hear it, that's fine. But it's fucking distracting me because it sounds like there's a thundercloud right over my fucking head. Paranoid Strain Podcast. Go get it now wherever you can find the best podcasts in the world. Check it out. Also, you know what? Our great friend, David Hernandez, David Mex Hernandez, if you will, he has the Phlegmcat podcast. What's that? 2 words? Yes, Phlegmcat. PHLEGMCAT. That's 2 words. The Phlegmcat podcast is available also where you can find the best podcast that you've ever imagined that you could find. The Amazon, the Spotify, and the Apple space, all of those fantastic places are where you're going to find our good friend David Mex Hernandez. Also, if you go to facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and become his friend, that would be cool. You can see all the artwork that he has done for the show. He's painted all of his friends, Derek and everybody else. He's got all sorts of characters, a whole cast of people. Over there, especially now in December, it's the holidays, so he's doing all sorts of special holiday nonsense. Go and check out our great friend. Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. You can hire him too to do artwork for you. I believe he's still doing that. So if you want him to do individual paintings, and it is the Christmas season. So if you want to hire somebody to paint a portrait of you or Custer, I don't know why Custer would be on your list, but go ahead. He's there. He can do it. Reach out to him at facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and ask him what it costs to do a small one, watercolor, oil painting, all of these things. Oil paintings are I think I might pass the deadline for Christmas because I know those take fucking forever to dry from what I've heard. So reach out to him, if you will. David Mex Hernandez, facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. Find out if he'll do some artwork for you, but also the podcast. The Phlegmcat podcast is available wherever you get your finer podcasts. Go ahead and subscribe and tune in and love it. That's right. That's an order. Goddammit. You need to love it. So go ahead and check that out. Hire me for Cameo, as I mentioned. You know what? I also have a Patreon page. What? I do. Patreon.com/Mike40YOB. If you want to sign up and help me out, that'd be pretty cool. Help me going forward and help me tackle 2023 and all of the big plans. Oh my goodness, the plans. Every and any little bit helps. You're nice to think of me. I appreciate it very much. Go to patreon.com/Mike40YOB and join today. And if you just prefer to go, dude, I'm getting a ringing in my left ear right now, and it is so intensely loud. I don't know what's happening. It'll probably fade, I would hope. It did. It just faded now. But it was like, well, I'm not going to describe what a ringing is. You've heard ringing in your ears. But again, and you know I have tinnitus, so I have tinnitus. I have ringing in my ears all the time. But this was starting to increase in intensity, and in my brain, I'm like, wait, don't tell me I'm getting capital T tinnitus. I don't want that shit. If I just got background tinnitus, that's one thing, and it's just going to get worse, obviously, over the next 10 years of my life. But if today was that day, that would have sucked. That would have been awful. As I go to this job fair, and there are certainly someone's going to be shot out of a cannon, so it would hurt my ear. My ear was ringing like the bell at the top of the tower when I used a mallet to smash the strongman thing. Oh, boom, ding. All right. All right. So if you wanted to send me money, and let's just get down to brass fucking tacks, right? If you just want to send me a handful of cash, you can do it via PayPal. And if you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little horn boy there. It says donate. Click on that as I yawn. Click on that and send cash. That would be great. Gas, grass, or ass. Nobody rides for free, folks. Nobody listens for free either. So, and I don't want your grass. And you can keep your gas. Ass, I'm on board. But also cash. So gas, grass, or ass? No, cash or ass. Let's go cash or ass. And I guess I wouldn't mind gas, because your cash will probably be turned into gas. So whatever you got to do, any of those words will do. And I'll take grass too. What am I fucking above it? By the way, now they're going to drug test me at this fucking fair. All right, idiot. Again, I love the idea of them listening to this before I go in. All right. Or after I get the gig and they're like, look, man, we got to cut you loose. We had no idea who you were. And I'm like, oh no, that's, you know what? That's, you know who runs that podcast? Michael. I'm Mike, completely different guy. That's Michael's on that podcast, or we probably got to do it the other way. That's Mike on that podcast. I'm Michael. You know who I am. All right. So send me money through PayPal through the MikeSchmidtComedy.com, if you will. By the way, MikeSchmidtComedy.com is like a haunted house. It's a website that's just falling apart that I can't fix. Again, because you need money. I tried to fix it during the pandemic when I had some money, and I was talking to a girl in Phoenix. And it just, once people start giving me shit to do, I'm just like, man, what are you doing? She's like, hey, I don't know about your email client, so you'll have to port it this way, and you got to write these. I'm like, what? Just do it. Just fucking do it. What does it cost? Another $50? Just do it. And she's like, well, I could host it, but I go, well, I just renewed with these guys. They host it. And she's like, oh yeah, well, you probably not gonna get your money back. So if you want to stay there, that's fine. Then you can port it in 4 months. I'm like, oh my Christ, just make website pretty. Could you just make website pretty? Because and make me do nothing. Could that be good? And so you know what happens then is you get in a position now where I got no money, I got no girl from Phoenix, and I can't fix the goddamn thing. And then every time I go, I'm just like, oh, it's a misery. It was a glorious. Remember in the heyday when it first premiered, it was so beautiful, and now it's just fallen off of a cliff, and it's my own fault. As is everything. Hey, get ready for that audio with Lily. It's going to be fun as I blame myself for everything short of Christ's crucifixion. He was crucified, right? I believe so. I think I read the book. Heard the scuttlebutt out there. All right, so send me dough through PayPal and all of our sponsor friends, which are great. I'm also part of the Misfit Toys Co-op. I'll tell you that right now. I'm on along with the guys from Never Not Funny. Doug Benson, Todd Glass, Jen Kirkman, all of their shows are involved. I believe Danielle Koenig's new show is on there as well. And I think I saw somebody else under the banner of Misfit Toys. Like they were advertising on Twitter. Not Misfit Toys, but like somebody did, and they said we're a Misfit Toys joint, or I don't even know. So hey man, there might be other people following me or teamed up with me on the roster, which is great. So I'm in the Misfit Toys Co-op, man. Support those shows. Never Not Funny, Doug Loves Movies, the Todd Glass Show, No Fun with Jen Kirkman, Danielle Koenig and another woman talk to you about danger. That seems like a long title. But that's out there. Go ahead and grab it. And then other shows that are all under the Misfit Toys Co-op banner. Go ahead and check them all out. They're all fantastic. They're all lovely, and they need your ears. We need your ears, your hot steaming ears, your virgin ears, if you will. Burst your ear hymens with all of them. Why not? All right. And then, I have channels. Did you know this, guys? Let's talk about this really quick. I have, first of all, let's talk about the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the40year-old-boy. Over there, you'll be able to go ahead and check out all of the past archives of this show. By the way, we're still in year 13, and it's been, I think this is 2 years of year 13. I'm not even joking. I fucking got all spinny for a while. Had to sit down and put ice on my head for about 6 weeks. And then I came back, and also, look, I wasn't here the last 2 weeks. Yes, I know, because I've been beating the pavement trying to get gigs. I had four. There was 4 possibles, and 2 of them are dead now. And then now there's this one today, and then there's always the fail safe. But whatever. Long story. I'll tell you all about it next week. There's no point in going into it now. I've talked I remember in the beginning of this one, I was like, I'm not going to talk very long. So the, whatchamacallit? What was I saying? I forget. Oh, channels. I got youtube.com/the40year-old-boy. You can check that out. But also, I have twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy. Now, I'm in the middle of playing God of War Ragnarok. It's fucking amazing. Last night I was playing, and I had to fight a gravel belly, and I was losing, and I just went, guys, I can't stick around and fight the gravel belly, because it's going to be an hour before I defeat the gravel belly. You're wondering what the gravel belly is? It's kind of like a rhinoceros crossed with a stegosaurus. But also, it's literally as big as a Zeppelin. I mean, it is fucking gigantic. And it came charging out of a tunnel and attacked me. And it's me and this other goddess named Freya, who is no help. She's a goddess, and she's no help. She shoots piddly little arrows. She doesn't help me in fights at all. She's supposed to be a Valkyrie. And instead it winds up being me, and now I got to run away from this thing. I don't like fights where I got to run away. I like to button mash and just get in and just mix it up. I like to get in close. But you can't get in close with the gravel belly, folks, because it just fucking annihilates you. I tried to beat it twice, and I went, I got to get out of here. Because yesterday I fought a Dark Angel for like 45 minutes. It was fucking me up. And I kept getting close. I kept getting close to beating it, then I wouldn't, and I was furious. And then I thought to myself, I should pivot. You always hear those things about guys who throw fucking temper tantrums. They play games. They fire their controller across the room, or they get mad. My psychotic brothers used to always say that there were games in Madden where the computer just decides you're not going to win. The computer, it would happen in NHL 93. They said, no, man, this is a game the computer will not let me win. They'll be like, I'll score, and they're going to return the kickoff. Like, it's crazy. They go, some games the computer just decides you're not going to win. And I'd be like, you guys are insane. But then I realized that is a much larger opinion held by a lot more people who believe that there are computer games. The computer's just like, fuck you, you're not winning this. And I don't know if that's just a brain worm or if it's real. Who knows? I have no fucking idea. But I was, playing last night and getting so frustrated at losing to this angel. My fucking fingers were numb because you got to dive and dodge and shoot and stab and whatever the fuck. And then my brain, I was like, what if I pivoted and I just made this like a fucking rage channel where I just fucking swore at games and I got pissed off and furious. Like, part of me thinks there's an audience for that, like where people would watch it. It would be exhausting to do it 3 hours a fucking night and just be fucking furious at winning fights or just talking shit, which initially that's fun when I do it in the games. I love talking shit in Red Dead and stuff. But occasionally, that only happens, I should say that happens only occasionally. Most of the time you're just fucking, you're relaxing, you're riding a horse, you're robbing a bank, whatever the fuck. You're not being mean. But when you get ambushed or whatever the fuck, then you start going nuts, you start yelling at people, then it's fun. I've had bears jump on me or whatever the fuck. So then I thought, what if I pivoted to make this channel just me being fucking frustrated with not winning fights? Instead of, because I get frustrated and then I blame myself and then I'm like, people don't want to watch this. It's so dumb. Brace yourself for this fucking conversation with Lily where I scrape out my skull and talk about how nobody likes me. What a fucking schlep rock. But fucking playing these games, what if there was a way to just do it where I was just like, God damn it, what the fuck? Just like this, because if anything, you'd probably go viral. You know what I mean? Because I do feel that way. I really want to scream and fucking swear sometimes at the goddamn screen because you're playing and it's like, you get so fucking close, you're like, no, fuck! But my Twitch channel isn't that. Yet. Anyway, I mean, who knows what it'll be. Of course, I may not have a Twitch channel much longer because I'm going to be collecting carts in the parking lot. So who knows? We'll see. They are not even going to, they're going to listen to this. It's going to be great. But still, twitch.tv/the40year-old-boy. You can follow for free. You can subscribe. You can use your Amazon subscription. Surprise. It doesn't cost you anything. I get $5 out of Bezos's pocket, which is nice. Or you can actually, subscribe and give your own money if you want to. You can do that. But I will tell you this, the last few years, 5 years, I think, of Twitch, I do a Christmas show. And it's a Christmas stream, and I'll have cookies, and I'll have hot chocolate, and we'll do a gift openings. People send me gifts, and they're very kind. I've received like 5 or 6 already. Listeners send me gifts. They send it either to the P.O. box or they send them to me here in my apartment. Which is incredibly gracious and nice. I love that people think of me and they want to do something like that. It makes me very happy. So this year, the stream is on December 23rd. So it's 2 weeks from tomorrow, which is tomorrow's Friday the 16th. It'll be 2 weeks from then. And I will say this, though. I'm having a frustrating thing with Twitch is I have camera stuff that happens that I can't control, and I don't know how to fix it because I'm great. So there will be a stream on December 23rd, but the stream may actually be on Facebook on the Westside 86 Jokers page, or it'll be on YouTube. Now, part of me wanted to do it on YouTube because I was like, well, that's cool, and YouTube handles video and stuff, and then I could do a stream and open gifts and have fun. It would be great. But then part of me was like, well, Facebook would actually be more convenient because a lot of people come to the Jokers page. And if they came to the Jokers page and saw a link to YouTube, they might go, well, I'm not going to fucking do that. But if they just came to fucking Westside 86 Jokers page and there's me, my goofy face as I'm opening shit and I'm broadcasting live, maybe it would make people want to stick around. I don't know. So I will just tell you this. December 23rd, there will be a Christmas stream. I'll read a small Christmas piece. I'll eat some cookies and hot chocolate. I'll open gifts. Will we have a visitor? We might. I've already tried a couple people who've said no, they're unavailable. But just letting you know that December 23rd, there will be a Christmas stream, whether it's on YouTube or or on Facebook or on Twitch. I'm not sure exactly where it will be, but it's going to be happening. And I hope you're able to tune in and check it out. And also, if you want to send me anything, you clearly do not have to send me anything. This is not a gift gambit. This is just... people seem to enjoy it. We do a Christmas thing and it's fun. I wear a Santa hat. Everybody loves it. If you'd like to send me something, again, you've got 2 weeks to do it. And you would send it, if you want to send it to my P.O. Box, write me, and I will give you the P.O. Box number, because I don't give it out on here because I don't need to get a bomb or a snake. But if you want it, write me a note. But also I will tell you this, if it's something... because time is of the essence. I understand that. Some people will be like, oh man, I want to rush it to you. I want to make sure it goes to you. Or some people send perishables. They'll send cookies or a fucking figgy pudding, whatever the fuck. And so they want to send it right to my house. And I got no issue with that. But you got to contact me for the address. I can't put it in public and I can't tell you it here. But if you want my address to send me something and make sure it gets to me on time, I'm all for that. So feel free to reach out and contact me. And it's funny how it's changed. 5 years ago, I was like, I can't do that. I can't give people my address. And now so many people have my fucking address that I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. You know why? Because people in Canada want to send me stuff, and it just takes fucking forever if they do the P.O. Box. And some people won't even some people want to send Amazon stuff, and it won't go to a P.O. Box. You know what I mean? So send me, if you want my apartment or whatever the fuck where I live, let me know. And that'll be easy. So you can do that. All right, so that's twitch.tv/the40year-old boy. And also stop in and watch me streaming some fucking God of War. That'd be fun. I'm killing people, fighting elves. I fought an ogre the other day. All of those things need to be done. Look, man, we got to take care of these ogres. We're overrun with ogres. And there's nothing worse than an ogre overrun. Can we all agree on that? I think we can. All right, Misfit Toys Co-op, Never Not Funny, Doug Loves Movies, Todd Glass Show, No Foam with Jen Kirkman, the Cameo bit, hire me for that, please. I don't think I'll do a 35-minute one, but you know what? If you pay or whatever you want to do, let me know. Patreon.com/Mike40YOB. If you want to PayPal me, go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. There's a horn boy. You can get right to the PayPal and do it that way. And please remember Paranoid Strain, a fantastic show. Go ahead and check them out. Phlegmcat Podcast, one of my great friends. Go ahead and listen to his show as well. And YouTube.com/The40year-old boy and Twitch.tv/The40year-old boy. They're out there. They're waiting. December 23rd is the Christmas stream. So much talking. And now what I need to do is I need to go practice my interviewing skills, because it's been a while, friends. But I feel that if I'm just go in there and I'm just, you know what, I'm just me, I think that should be enough. As he laughs ruefully at this completely empty notion. All right. Here's me and Lily, and it's another, I gotta admit, it's a deep dive on what goes on in my fucking brain, and if that's not for you, I totally get it, but there is some funny stuff in it, I promise. And I can only hope that you'll find a way to stick around and listen to that. If you listen this far, you're halfway in. So why not? Why wouldn't you fucking do it? Who do you think you are? You're special? You think you're better than me? You might be better than Mike, but God damn it, you are not better than Michael. All right. Thank you for indulging me. And I was off 2 weeks, but I will be back next week. Will I? Yes, I swear. I swear to God. See you guys. Thanks.
At US Cellular Prepaid, we bring you unmatched value even with our new lowest price plan. Just $25 a month gets you 2 gigs of data plus hotspot access to keep all your devices connected for less. That's right, just $25 a month gets you 2 gigs of data plus hotspot access plus unlimited talk and text. Staying connected for just $25 a month? Now that is unmatched value. Get more for less at US Cellular Prepaid. Terms apply. See uscellular.com for details.
Hi, I'm comedian and writer Michael Ian Black. In between writing books and starring in movies, I do a podcast so popular I named it Obscure. It's my own spin on an audiobook meets book club with comedy. For season 2, I just finished Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I know you guys like murder podcasts. Well, this is a murder podcast. Join me for Obscure on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you listen.
Oh, hey guys, I'm Hallie Kiefer. And I'm Allison Livey.
And we have a podcast called Ruined, where every week we crack open a new and different horror movie to feast on the goo inside.
Oh, I hate that. And I hate all horror movies. But even though I'll never watch any of them, I always want to know all of the twists and turns.
And there's nothing I like more than watching horror movies and then telling Allison about them in gory, disgusting detail.
Ugh, no thank you. But also, yes, because this is the perfect podcast for scaredy cats like me.
And blood lovers like me. So join us for Ruined and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everybody, Doug Benson here, host of the long-running podcast, Doug Loves Movies. If you love movies, if you love comedy, if you love breathing, if you love lunch, if you love just about anything, I think you'll love Doug Loves Movies. Check it out wherever you get podcasts. 'Cause Doug loves movies.
You're funny.
So you have 22 gigabytes?
I have 22 gigabytes available on my 4 terabyte hard drive.
Just making sure. I know what else is on your 4 terabyte hard drive?
I have a lot of photos and videos and podcasts and nonsense.
All right. Podcasts.
Yeah, I have a bunch of my old burlesque podcasts. And, but again, mostly it's video. I have a bunch of videos because we did the shows, and I've been working and editing, and I'm going to put up a bunch of MNT's stuff, and so I've just got a lot of stuff on my hard drive right now.
Well, when you said podcast, I was disappointed because I know you throw mine away the instant it's done. Like you're literally like, oh, I'll get you a copy, and then I get it immediately deleted from my hard drive, so nothing bad happens to my fucking computer. And now you're like, I've got 8 gigs of this, and then I've got 400 terabytes of podcasts that aren't yours.
You are responsible for your audio for your show.
Understood, but you should keep it for posterity because you like it.
Well, it's funny because I do have a bunch of the old DVDs that have season 1 through whatever on them. I don't know where it ends. I just found a bunch of those that are the backups that I have burnt because you're backing up all of your stuff. Yes.
Oh boy. Wouldn't that be grand?
Burning these for you?
Well, all right. Let's put it this way: don't threaten me with doing work for me, because yes, you should be burning those for me. I think I've backed everything up. Look, we talked about this saga. I literally have. I mean, I will show you. I have these 2 terabyte hard drives, right, or external hard drives, and then I have this, which I've yet to open. This is a 5 terabyte hard drive.
Why have you not opened it?
Well, it's not Christmas yet. How weird. No, because once I open that, then I got to commit to doing the project. And here's what I want to do. All right, here's the reason I have all the. First of all, hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. How are you? And I have apologies to dispense. They'll be coming soon. Let me just figure out what I'm going to talk about here for just a second. With the terabytes, all right, let's back all the way up. I have a laptop. All right, I have a laptop, a MacBook Pro that I've had that was actually and it shames me to say these things sometimes. This is a gift from a listener named Mike. He bought this laptop, and he's incredibly kind and nice. And he bought this in 2015, I think, a MacBook Pro. It was because mine was really just fucking dying and it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So he bought this, and I've been using it since. Well, now that was 2015, so now it's 7 years later. So this is having, the issues the old one had when he bought me the one in 2015. And what I mean by issues, like Apple doesn't have regular issues. You know what I mean? Apple, nobody crashes. Like sometimes you can get the blue screen of death or whatever the fuck. I had that on my Windows last week. But Apple always has weird stuff. Like this is completely true. The H no longer works on my keyboard. You have to fucking bang it, like really hit it hard to get an H. But then when you do that, you get 4 H's, and then you got to fucking. So I'm going to say this, and people are going to laugh at me, and you probably will too. I was always remiss in answering emails and Facebook messages and Twitter notes and stuff like that, right? Because doing it on your phone is a fucking pain in the ass, and I'm a one thumb guy, so then you're doing this, and you still got to First of all, when you talk to text on Facebook, all right, brace yourselves, everybody. Here comes incoming weird. When you talk to text on your phone, you still have to proofread it. Like it's like you have to write the message twice or 3 times because you say it, and then you got to look and go, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't fucking say apricots. How the fuck did apricots get in my text? So then you got to delete that, and then you got to do all the structure. So now, you know what it is with the phone? You are student and teacher. You have to turn in your essay, and then you have to fucking grade the goddamn thing, and then you have to give it back to student to go ahead and fix the shit that he fixed. It's like there's another step even. So it drives me crazy, and it's one of the reasons. It's because I'm lazy. That's true as well. I have right now a ton of Facebook messages that I haven't read, because if you read them, you have to answer them. And so I'm like, I can't just click on this, because then people are like, what the fuck, man? I know let me apologize to all of you. Well, first of all, let's do this. Yeah, we're late. I haven't been here for I have been underwater. My head is just fucked. It just is. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'm going to do my best to be as entertaining and as funny as I possibly can be this week. If I peel the onion on it at all, you're going to be like, Jesus fucking Christ, this guy, let's get an intervention going or something, because it's whatever. And we've been through this before on this show over the course of 13 years. I've hit these walls before. But it was very much at the bottom of a well for a couple of weeks, and I've climbed out now. And I also don't want you to think, I only did this because Lily's involved. I mean, I'm a grown man. I can do the show on my own but I didn't want to do fuck all. I mean, I just, whatever. So I want to steer off into this bleak territory. So anyway, with the Apple, like I said, the H doesn't work, but they've put out a thing that says, we'll fix this. We know the H doesn't work, everybody. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I have to just bring it to the geniuses, and they'll fix my H, which is cool. I'm like, all right, fix my H. However, I have things on my computer that I don't particularly want anybody to see. All right. I have personal photos that, look, if you want to see my cock, feel free. If you want to go ahead and do
ladies
that,
and gentlemen, and those
send
an email to Mike at Mike.
Sure. Photo 31 is locked and or loaded, or unloaded. And if you see the photo, you'll understand why. But yeah, it's I have stuff that I honestly, I should just fucking delete, a ton of like, stuff, photos and videos, whatever. So, but the last thing I ever want is for that to get out. And I know, and I don't look, you can be the ghost of Steve Jobs himself. You can be fucking Tim Apple, that guy who's out there now running the show.
Tim Apple,
those guys. They're looking at your stuff. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think, because it's the same way with your phone hears you. All right. I was at my buddy Paul Gilmartin's house the other day, and I started telling him about a movie I watched, which was fucking, by the way, this doesn't help my headspace. I like bleak movies. I like to find things that are really fucking brutal and awful, like where, it's tough. So I found a movie. I watched a movie the other day called Come and See. And it is notorious for being the most brutal anti-war film ever depicted. Okay. A guy made it in Soviet Russia. I can't pronounce his fucking name because it's all those backwards K's and shit. But he's the lore of this movie is enough to even give you the chills. But this dude wrote this movie, and it took him 7 years to get the Russian government to approve it, that he would be able to film it the way he wanted to film it. He was not going to make it unless he could film it the way he wanted to film it. He needed to do it in a way that was, expressed everything he had to say about war and what is it good for. He actually had Edwin Starr. he had Edwin Starr as a consultant on the film, and because initially it had a much brighter outlook. But then he brought in Edwin Starr, and he said, "What do you think about this?" And he goes, "Well, I'll tell you what. You're asking me about war," and the director's like, "Yes." And he goes, "Well, let me ask you this: what is it good for?" And the director was frozen for a minute. He didn't really think of it in those terms. He was just making a war picture, a small personal war picture. And he said, I guess I've never really pondered that question. And Edwin Starr looked him dead in the eyes and said, "Absolutely nothing." And the director was shocked that Edwin Starr would be so honest with him, certainly on the first day of being hired. But he also wasn't sure he had digested the message. So the director looked at Edwin Starr and he said, "Say it again." All right. So this movie, Come and See, is a war movie. And it took him 7 years to get it approved by the Russian government. Okay. And also, this is true, it's the last film the director ever made. Because he was done. He had said what he needed to say. Okay. It's set in 1945, 42. You'd think I'd respect the guy. I remember the fucking year. I think, no, it's 45. In Russia. It's set in Russia. The Germans are invading and trying to, crush them. And it's a young boy, 13. And he lives in and this is another thing that got me. Like when you see the way people lived and shit like that, you're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Maybe we should let somebody blow this country up. But he lived in a tiny village that had one cow. You know what I mean? Like all these huts and the elders and all that kind of stuff. So he's on the beach he's digging through the sand. And then you realize he's got another little boy with him too. And the previous little boy, the other little boy, had found a gun on the beach. And this kid is digging through the sand, and it's because there are Russian soldiers buried in the sand after having lost a battle. So these guys are digging through it to find them and get their guns. They want a gun. That's what they want. So the little boy, the teenage kid, he's about 13, 14. He gets a gun, and he finds one finally, and he pulls it out of the fucking sand. And as they're doing this, a fucking German bomber plane goes over them. And they can see. So he goes back to the village, and his mom is terrified. Like she's got two other little babies and then him. And she's like, why would you ever want to go fight? Because your father never came back and you have to stay. And she's kind of sad. And he's trying to explain what he needs to do it. Mom, well, you need to fight these guys and save the country, whatever. And then he doesn't even get a choice. He doesn't get to volunteer. Literally, while they're having this conversation, he gets conscripted. These a rebel army, because if you know anything about Russia in World War II, everybody fucking fought. They were just like, fuck this. That's one of the ways that when I joke all the time about these countries, like when I said, when Russia invaded Ukraine, I'm like, Russia's there because they're every bit of that and more. And Ukraine is like, oh, really? Like I said, I've said this many times, don't ever go to war with a country that may have a pope's bones in a cave somewhere. Like, you don't want to fight these fucking people. Any country that has a K in their name, do not battle them. All right. It's not worth it. Because they will sit in trenches for years and eat mice and curse your fucking name and the names of your families. And that's who they are. I mean, again, in this country, we're all essentially, as we fight and squabble among ourselves about this, that, and the other thing, and we're possibly leaning toward fascism and where is this going and who knows, and democracy and whatever. We're fucking children. We've been at this for 230 years.
Yeah.
Dude, in Europe, they have buildings older than us. They have fucking, they've been squabbling for 1,000 years. They have names for it. There are books written about shit that happened 1,000 years ago that you could look at, and they're still fighting those fucking wars. They're still mad. Some guy in Bosnia will curse a Chechen for something a king did in 1112. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? This is what it is. So they conscript this kid into the army, and then he goes to this, and it's a bunch of ragtags. It's a fucking outfit in the woods. And I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to describe it completely, but it is this boy's journey. And he goes from being a 13-year-old who's like, yeah, you know what? I want to totally fight this and da-da-da, to by the end of the film, and this is completely true, the actor, the boy, they had to hypnotize him to prepare him for what he was going to be involved in this movie.
Jesus.
And his hair turned gray. And they fucking, afterwards he went back to school and they had colored his hair, but also it had grown in gray in spots. I mean, it's because it is, dude, because the stuff that happens, I don't want to tell you, but it's, it's also, by the way, it's true. This guy made this movie basing it on these events that happened in Belarus. So wow. He took this from real history and lore and then, made it a movie, but still there's nothing feel good in this fucking, I mean, it is just relentless haymaker after fucking haymaker. And you're watching it. And again, it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And if you see it, another amazing thing is the actor, the boy, when you see him in the beginning of the movie and then you see him at the end of the movie, it is astonishing, the transformation. because you're like, holy shit. Because again, the things he's seen and done in the movie are one thing, but also in real life, he became this, like he changed physically from doing this fucking film. And then as if this isn't, kicking you in the fucking stomach enough, at the end, there's a montage of stuff of actual war footage.
Ugh.
And you see it. And again, it's that thing where, especially with what we have going on now here in America with these fucking rednecks marching out of the woods with swastika flags or hiding in fucking compounds now.
We call them Nazis.
Yeah, I'm that's what I'm saying. They don't feel like, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't, because let's put it this way. Another reason I didn't use that word is it's being devalued. Okay. It's being devalued as people throw it around at people. I mean, I had a friend who literally was tweeting about something and a fucking Twitter person with over 500,000 followers started a fight with him and called him a Nazi. And I'm just like, what? And went from 0 to Nazi in the blink of a swastika. I mean, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It was crazy.
Are you still on Twitter?
I'll be on Twitter till it burns to the ground. I like Twitter.
Okay.
You can fucking.
I'm not judging you. I'm
Understood.
not judging you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how people are still there. It is a cesspool that is worse than the most disgusting Reddits I've been on. I literally opened Twitter a couple times and I just went, I can't. I have reasonable people that I follow and I can't. I am being bombarded and I just had to take it off my phone.
That hasn't been my experience.
Yeah.
I get baseball news. You know what I mean? Like I understand what's going on. I can see the flames licking the outer walls. I mean, I know what's happening. But I enjoy the platform. Like I said, you remember I joined in 2000.
Did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the beginning, I made fun of it. Remember, 2009 is when I joined, and I was like, "Who the fuck cares what I had for lunch?" Like, I did the same thing with Facebook. I've had to be dragged kicking and screaming into every social media platform.
Okay,
Instagram, what the fuck? Even TikTok now. You know what I mean? And I find, but I will say, I find the things that I enjoy on TikTok because the
cat videos, the happy dog videos, right?
No, the cooking dudes,
the cooking news,
but the AMSR cooking dudes, those are fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Because they'll be suggesting like, the talented chef or whatever the fuck.
Well, I sent one to you that you didn't care for, I don't think.
Well, because
that's okay.
Well, all right, because then you go there to the talented chef, and then they've got Beyonce blaring in there, and then they have that robot voice go, "How to make sloppy joes?" I'm like, "Fuck you, just make sloppy joes, man." I don't need any window dressing. Just fucking, I need a pair of hands, dumping liquid, browning meat, sizzle, sizzle, scoop it up, manwich me, and let's go. And you know what? That's a manwich, because that's not just a sandwich. That's a goddamn meal. I'm willing to watch that. But sure enough, on TikTok, everybody thinks that they need fucking bells and whistles. Like, I don't need this shit, dude. I don't. There are some accounts, like I said, I follow like 30 accounts right now, and probably half of them are chefs. And some of them are funny people, which I like, and some of them are friends. But boy, I've been dragged kicking and screaming into that platform. As you know, like I told you, I was like, what the fuck? I'm too young. Or too old. I shouldn't be doing this shit. But now I love it. I mean, I think it's fantastic and it's viable and it's great. But at the same time,
and they're going to ban it because they can't control it.
And also, yes, true.
They're trying to ban TikTok specifically.
Well, I know
it's hilarious
by using the China backdoor. I know.
Yes.
And it's, but everything is that now.
But we have a billionaire that is allowing people to call people Nazis at the drop of a hat.
Lily, I can't get sucked into this conversation.
Yeah,
I don't care.
It's crazy to me.
I truly don't care.
I know, because your H doesn't work.
Yeah, the H doesn't work. Because this show will just be a hamster wheel of that every week, because it's never going to fucking change. I mean, it's just the way it is, and you deal with it
eventually.
Good for you. I wish your optimism was shared globally, but I just find it to be like, all right, I'll talk about him for this fucking second. I hear about him all fucking day, all on Twitter. Who the fuckhead who bought Twitter?
Okay.
He's on there. That's fine. He's mentioned by news people. He's screenshots of tweets, comedians, everybody did a. And I sit there and I go, don't you fuckheads realize? And you know what? That's probably doing them an injustice. They probably all realize it, but they're so hooked and embedded and addicted, they can't pull away. This is exactly what you did with fucking Trump. Like, and then you all wanted him off the platform. Oh my God, he's this, he's that. You can't get it. He can't escape him. He's terrible because he was fucking. It was awful. Even if you blocked him, which I did, he was like whatever. Everybody would retweet his screenshot and talk about it. They all have their take and their dunk and their bullshit. And they're doing the same thing with this ass fuck. And what they don't understand to me is he is an absolute child. He is such a, I have opinions. I don't think much of him. That's all I'm going to say. It's not going to belabor the point, but they're doing his work for him. He bought the platform and he's trying to keep it alive. And by trolling and engaging and saying these are his real opinions, whatever the fuck, but he's doing it to get people ginned up, and they do. They all repeat it. They fight. They jump on every decision he makes. And it turns, that's why I'm saying, You'll hear about him constantly because and it's like, just leave it alone. Just fucking
well, if you just leave it alone, he would do what Trump almost did, which was fucking an insurrection. Again, you have to shine light on
puns are not light.
I'm trying to find you've got to shine light on it. Again, I'm with you. The people who are just trolling for the sake of trolling, thinking that they're, Stephen Colbert in their wit and ability to make fun of this guy, are sad. But that is also part of everybody in this country right now is so taken over by the oppression that's happening to them. It's the only thing they have.
All right. And again, I don't want to go down this road. I do not.
But the point is, putting the light on Trump is finally coming to fruition 5 years later. We're finally seeing things happening to his companies, and I do believe eventually he will be held responsible.
Yeah, I do not share that sentiment. He will laugh to the grave. He will never pay. He will prance around like a minstrel dancing between landmines and be a constant fucking pork chop necklace around all of our necks as everybody tries to chew him up.
So let's go back to the H. Because you don't want to talk about this, and that's fine. You don't have to.
I don't. But you know why? Because you could talk about it for 2 hours every week. That's the thing. And then I'm these people who become this fucking. Because look, you know where I stand. You know what I mean? It's not like I've. So there's no point in going into it. And people listening to this show, and again, after having listened for 13 years, people are like, we want to hear your take on things. We want to hear what you have to say, and it's super nice, and I love it. And I'm privileged to have an audience who cares. You know what I mean? That's great. But if you keep hitting them with the same fucking sledgehammer, eventually they're going to go, wow, Jesus Christ. All right, we get it, buddy. And they're going to fucking, and look, I did enough damage. I don't think
your entire personality is tied around taking down things or anything. You mock and talk about everything. And I think it's okay if you talk about it every now and then.
I want to, like I said, I want to like things. I want to, that's.
Well, it's hard to like him. All
right, and also it's hard to understand why anybody could like him, and then that leads you down another road where you're like, everything is stupid. What the fuck is going on? Like, what? I can't understand. Like, dude, like, all right, again, I'm not. I can't. I just fucking can't.
So tell me more about your H.
Oh man, I just So why was I talking about Come and See? Why was I talking about the war movie?
You said that you were talking with Pat and the computer was listening.
Oh, that's why, because I was at Paul's house and I was telling him about Come and See.
Or Paul's house, not Pat.
Yeah, and then he turned on YouTube to try to find some clip he wanted to show me, and it was like, for you, and the first 4 were about World War II and Nazis, and I was like, what are you watching? And he goes, I didn't watch any of that. He goes, I'm telling you, your phone heard it, and my phone heard it, and it put it in my fucking YouTube. And I was like, man, because we both were like, yeah, that's probably what happened. Beat Jesus fucking Christ. You know what I mean? Like, and then you just start to realize you're like, holy fuck, I gotta watch what I'm talking about. Jesus God, you know what I mean? I think you want to fucking watch clips of that, and if your YouTube search is filled with Nazis, you're like, hey, whoa, dude. And at least it was just like World War II docs. It wasn't like it was some favorable, how to make a swastika out of macaroni noodles or any of that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Wow. There's probably a channel for that because
that's what I'm
the
saying.
World is that awful.
Yeah, there's hate crafting, they call it. I'm sure it's fantastic. They got people making oven mitts out of human skin. They got all that shit. Here's the way to do it. It's totally great. Fuck off. Jesus God. Well, you know what? If you put a little extra starch in your clan hood, you can turn it upside down and it makes a nice vase. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, good. I think I love this channel. My God, if that channel doesn't exist, somebody make it and then credit me.
No, please don't.
No, credit me. Well, when I say credit me, I mean give me money. That's all. I'm 55 and it's sellout time, man. And I joked about that for the last 10 years, but it is upon us. I don't give a fuck what you want me to endorse. Fucking, you got some soup you want me to talk about? I don't give a shit. Fucking call me up. Hey, this is the new puppy mill and you know it's not like where we're just making puppies and giving them away. We actually grind them into a fine puppy paste. And you can put them in one of these custom made urns we've had for, oh, look, here's one for Sluggo the Bulldog. He's all ground up firmly. Put him on your mantle. Pretend you had a dog and that you were once interesting. With this dead dog you accredited to yourself. It's like naming a star after yourself. Hey, I bought a dead dog's ashes. Look, I used to own a pet. Love me, God damn it. Fuck me. I don't know. So our good friend Michael W. Mike, who, by the way, I have not heard from in 6 years because I've lost him as a listener. I'm sure I've lost everybody, as you know.
That is not true.
Bullshit. Let's talk about this real quick. Hold on. You want to talk about something?
Yes.
And it's funny. I think I told you a listener reached out to me to be my technical producer. Did I tell you this story? Yeah. She's lovely, and she's been listening a very long time because she was. I think she's one of the Kickstarter people, and Mex and I did a song about her. Like we did an actual segment, one of the ones we were fucking around with the guitar and we just bringing up people's names, you know?
Yeah.
And we actually sang. I should just put the fucking thing in here when I put the show together. But we did. It was her name's Aya. I thought it was Aya. It turns out it's Ia.
Yeah.
I'll explain that in a second. But I thought it was Aya. So then when we were fucking around with the guitar, we did Hey Ya by Outkast. But we did Ia. We did Hey Ya. Cassandra. We said her name. We did that. So, just silliness and fun. Well, she's the one who reached out to me and wants to be my technical producer or whatever. So I kept staring at the texts and they arrive. And the funny part is I would mention it on the show, right?
Yeah.
And then but I never contacted her. So then she'd write me and go, obviously you're reading these. So, I mean, she goes, I'll look forward to hearing from you in April 2025, but just please know that I'm here if you're interested in this sort of thing, and that's fine. But now because again, one of the things what do I always think when people offer to do something for me, what is my MO? Do you know? Do you remember?
No, tell us.
I never engage them because I think it would be a burden for them to do anything for me.
No.
Even though they have offered kindly and said, look, man, I'm on board, whatever you need, I'm happy to do this. And I'm like, all right, well, you're being very nice, and there's a lot of lip service that you're paying to make me feel good about myself, but I couldn't possibly put you in service of myself or anything that I would do because I know you would hate me instantly. You know what I mean? Like one of those deals. Because I've had that burn me in the past. I had a listener who was my champion, a dude who fucking loved me. He would I saved texts from him to read so I would feel okay. Like, so he was unbelievably kind verbally, and everything he wrote and the support he showed me and the things that he did were crazy amazing. And then a switch got flipped and he turned on me in a way where I actually got an email from him telling me to die slow. Okay. That's
not good.
Yeah. He told me to die slow and
die slow.
Yeah. And it was, and to the point where, like, let's put it this way. I had a buddy here, and the email came in. My buddy was here when the meltdown happened, and the meltdown had happened over it. This guy was always a very aggressive, like, dude. I had just never been on the wrath of it. And there had always been kind of stuff floating around in the ether that, yeah, this guy's kind of nuts or whatever. But I didn't give a shit because he loved me. So, like, I was like, all right. And he did amazing things for me. And I would offer to pay him, and he never would take it and stuff. He was the one who made the Twitch idea happen. He was like, you should do Twitch. You got to do it. We'll fucking do it. And you got to build a channel. And they're super, super kind. Okay. But then I did one thing he didn't like. And
what was that thing?
I let somebody else consult with me on the Twitch stuff. And I did something that person thought was smart rather than something that he had suggested. And then he texted me or wrote me an email. I forget what it was. And then he sent me 6 in a minute, like 6 texts or emails in a minute. Where are you? What are you doing? And I was out with my friend. We were out at dinner, and I'm just like, well, I I didn't think it was that imperative because I had done a change, and he was like, "Why did you make this fucking change? Why would you make this fucking change without asking me? What the fuck?" Whatever. And then finally, I said, "Hey, man, you gotta calm down. I mean, like, I don't know what you're doing here, but like, if you want to talk to me, I'll talk to you. But I'm doing this, I'm dinner." And then it just got worse. And so I changed all my passwords because he had my YouTube password. He had everything. Yeah. He had all my passwords. I changed them all without telling him. And the next day, and I just went, "Look, I think it's pretty obvious that we can't work together, and you've done amazing things and whatever." And then he sent me this email, and literally I saw like literally I forget, it was the subject, or you can see the first line of an email or the sub, whatever. It was something along the lines of like, your fucking family, or like something ridiculous.
Yes.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't want to read it because I was like, this is going to be psychically not good. I just didn't want it to be, I didn't feel like reading really something hateful. And I knew him, and he was a dude who if he wanted to be, he would just hurl invective at the speed of light. So my buddy was with me, and I was like, "You want to read this email? Tell me if it's anything I should read." And then he read it, and he goes, "Delete it immediately." I said, "What?" He goes, "Don't even look at it. There's nothing good there for you or him." He goes, "Just get rid of it." And I did. I never read it. I just fucking tossed it. But then, of course, I'm telling my friend, I go like, "Why? How bad was it?" And he was like, that's how I found out about the die slow thing. And I was like, "Oh, Jesus fucking Christ." And he goes, that was the kind part. Like, it was just not good.
I understand that feeling when people take ownership when they help. And especially if you didn't ask them for help specifically, but then they come in and they feel like they're your savior and they've done all of this for you and you don't appreciate it enough. Even though you've said from the beginning, "I don't want to use you. If you want to help, I appreciate it because I don't know how to do this, but I'm being very clear with my boundaries." Yeah. But then the moment you actually give them a boundary, they lose their mind.
Well, you've described it pretty perfectly. I mean, that's what it was. And again, I was incredibly grateful to him for what he had done. And I didn't do anything that I never upbraided him. I never once was like, "Don't do that." Because again, there's a movie called Velvet Goldmine that I love.
Yes.
Right? It's a brilliant movie. And Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is essentially David Bowie. And Ewan McGregor is essentially Iggy Pop. Okay. So Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is kind of floundering as a fop, kind of, trying to reinvent himself a few times. And then he meets fucking Ewan McGregor. He sees him first. And it was funny because just recently on Twitter, there was one of those things that they were like, what is like the peak sexuality for a man ever in a movie? What would you consider it to be? Whatever, the hottest thing you've ever seen in a movie from a guy. And the first time you see Ewan McGregor as Iggy Pop, singing TVI is fucking ridiculous. Like, it's uncomfortable because all of a sudden you're like, what the hell is happening? You know what I mean? Like, you start kind of sweating and you're like, this is like fucking hot, like bold hot, like crazy, because he's shirtless. He's wearing nothing but fucking jeans. He's got like fucking eye glitter on, and he fucking sprinkles glitter all over himself as he's singing. And also, it's contradicted by the fact that TVI is a song that you would kill somebody in an alley to. I mean, it's like, it's just fucking, he got a TVI on me. He got a TVI. It's just fucking growling. And you're just like, and it's funny because in the scene, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers sees him and he gets stars in his eyes, like twinkles, like he's like, and I felt that way too. I'm like, I got to imagine a lot of people saw it and were like, holy fuck. Because it's this amazing 30 seconds or 15 seconds. And you're like, so then afterwards, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is sitting with them at dinner and he can't stop staring at Iggy, and Iggy's like, and then Iggy starts talking, and he's a mess. He's a fucking basket case. You can tell because it's all like, and the line is, he says, because David Bowie's kind of like, I could take you to this, we could do that. He's like, Rhys-Meyers is reaching out, and Ewan McGregor doesn't really process any of it because he's fucking high out of his mind. And he just says, heroin used to be my main man. Maybe you could be my main man. And he looks at him, and he just, the Bowie character is like so happy. But then you see that fucking the Iggy Pop character had shock treatment as a kid. He's he's just fucking banana. It's essentially the true story of the two of them. And then they fall, whatever, they're fucking, well, a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, so I think of that scene when I think of this person reaching out to help me, because I'm the Iggy Pop and I'm not dangerous or sexy. I'm just useless. So I'm just sitting there where he's like, and he's like, well, I could do this and I could do this and I could do this and I could do this. And I'm like, yeah, lethargy used to be my main man. Maybe you could be my main man, and just give him the keys. Because again, I've only met this person once in my life. Everything else was done electronically. Yet I gave them the passwords to all of my stuff and said, yeah, man, I trust you. Do all this shit. Because it was partly like, holy fuck, somebody is so kind that they're reaching out and they're going to do this cool shit for me. And also, I don't want to do any of this shit. What the fuck? And I wouldn't know the first thing of how to do it. You know what I mean? And I don't want to learn. I always love that when people are like, man, if you go to YouTube, there's like a 10-minute video. And I'm like, fuck, shut up. Not interested. Looks like the water's going to keep rushing into my kitchen. You know what I mean? Don't ever tell me that there's some way I could learn it. There's like, hey, on YouTube, and I will tell you this, I have gone that path. I have used YouTube where I've looked up, like in my car, when I had to change the key fob battery, or I had to do something, a light came on in my car and I was like, what is this? How does it? And then I fixed it my own self. And you feel like Paul fucking Bunyan. Like you're like striding along with your giant countenance and a big ox. I am a man. Stepping on fucking weirdos. It's fucking amazing. When you do shit, it's amazing. But I don't want to do shit. Who the fuck wants to do shit? Fuck all that. I used to have people who did shit. I used to have you to do shit. I used to have everybody to do shit. And now I sit in my house under a blanket with nobody to do shit. So then that person exploded and it turned into a thing. And I've said this on the show before, I think. Literally one of the first things that person did was follow my ex on Twitter. And my ex followed them back. And it was he is one of the people I had burdened with all of my horrible, you went through it. You every week when we would do a show, there'd be 2 hours first preamble about what I was going through and what was happening and what does this mean? And so you unfortunately had to put on your fucking, your Nicolas Cage costume from National Treasure and decipher whatever the fuck had happened to me and go, no, it's this. No, this is happening. No, this is projection. This happened. They did the thing they're accusing you of, like all these different things. And so you and I would have these conversations, and then I'd be like, "Hey, everybody, how you doing, comedy?" You would be this burnt out husk who I wasn't paying for therapy that I should have, because for 2 hours every week you would have to hear it, and then that's not even counting the texts or whatever the fuck. And I'd be like, "What does this mean?" But he got caught in that web too, just like everybody did at that time. I remember one time I was in a car with Pat for almost 3 hours. You know what I mean? And it's the thing where when people aren't going through it, they're just like, just fucking leave. Like, what are you doing? Just fucking stop. Just walk away.
It's the clarity of not having the emotional tie.
Yeah. Well, and, or the emotional yoke. It wasn't even a fucking tie. The emotional chain. It was like the chains you see that hold King Kong in the boat. Yeah. I had about 10 sets of those on, but here's the key. I had the key. And I had locked myself in those chains. Ding, ding, I just refused to get off the boat.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. Can you show him what he won?
Well, let me tell you something. If that boat pulls back into port, I might go looking for those chains, because who the fuck knows? I'm going to die soon. So yeah, he contacted, and when I saw that, I was just like, because I had been honest and naked and told him a bunch of shit like about what was going on. And I was like, da-da-da. And literally one of the first things he did was they connected. And I was like, oh my God. It was the trident to the heart, where I was like, oh boy, this guy's in for the fucking kill.
It's really hard that people can care about you so much that they become your biggest enemy. I mean, when you look at like Selena and stuff like that, whenever somebody says to me, oh my God, I'm your biggest fan, I am literally like, let me put a red flag on your name in my phone, because that is a boundary that people don't have. I have people who follow me on Patreon and things like that. And sometimes they will say things like, love you. And I have to go, that's like a sign off of love you, not like I'm in love with you and I want to wear your skin. Okay, cool. And because again, it can be very inappropriate because people feel they know you. I follow people on TikTok, and I'm like, I just want to sometimes write, yo, bitch, that was funny. And I'm like, you don't have that relationship with this person. Take 2 steps back. You know them on TikTok, and it is one of those where it's like, you do feel connected, in ways that can be healthy and unhealthy at the same time.
Well, because these mediums are so inherently personal. You know, we've discussed this many times along, but podcasting, I'm in your head. It's like, it's not even like we're sitting there talking. Every week you made an appointment for me to climb into your skull.
Yep.
And you were with me through funny and good, and you were with me through holy fuck, that's awful. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you can, and it also, it blurs the line for me.
Yes.
Because this is all going to sound formulated, and it's not. Because it's all going to sound like it comes from because you hear people be phony.
Oh yeah.
It blurs the line between, and I don't consider myself this creator and fan or whatever you want to call it. So that's why I've often said on here, I'm like, you care, everybody cares. And the inner circle, we did that thing.
Yeah.
We did all that. And I've said, these people are my friends. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I never want to say people are, fans. That's just fucking dumb. But then they're very nice, and they'll be like, no, we are fans or whatever. And I'm like, well, okay, but this is my personal hang up, where then I'm like, oh no, these are my friends or whatever. Like, but if somebody fucking was like, hey, Mike, come help me move, I'd be like, oh man, you know me well enough to know that that's never going to fucking happen. I don't want to help myself move. I literally, we joked, remember we talked about the lottery, and I was like, I'd probably buy a house. And then I look around and I'm just like, oh, and I'm not joking. I'm like, people go to Home Depot and they hire dudes to just pack everything up or whatever the fuck, those dudes in the parking lot. I would literally go to Home Depot and bring them here and go, everything is yours. Take whatever you want. Like, I wouldn't even rent a truck. I'd be like, everybody come to my house. All right, walk in. I go, take what you want. I'd like, take my photographs and shit and put them to the side.
Yeah. But
all my Blu-rays and DVDs and fucking couches, and I just could take it all. I'm so rich. Like, I wouldn't care. I'd just take everything that you need. Like, my house would be like an open house, but everything was fucking free because I'm so lazy. I don't want to, because in my brain, I thought that I'm like, if you were ever, because this is, believe me, my fantasy world is rich. And I'm like, all right, you win the Powerball. And I'm like, all right, well, I'd buy a house probably. And then I'm like, well, then you do realize you'd have to move, right? I'm like, oh man, I don't want to fucking move. I'm like, and also, are these, like, I have nice sheets. I bought a bunch of sets of nice sheets. I'm like, but are these sheets, are they Powerball worthy to go to my new house? I don't know if they are. I mean, there must be a rich guy sheet store where it's made out of like llama skins and shit like that. I mean, I some endangered species linen that I can purchase because I just won the Powerball. I would imagine some sort of wallaby pillowcase that I could rest my head on and comfortably know that this animal took its last breath, knowing it would comfort me for a week before I threw it away and bought a fucking ocelot pillowcase. So I couldn't, this is all dirty. I don't want any of this dirty shit that I own. Get out of here. Look, I got no age. This laptop doesn't have an age. I'm going to keep this around. Yeah, we've been through a lot together, but get this fucking thing out of here, man. I need something with a functioning alphabet. Can't even handle the fucking alphabet. That's what your job is. You got letter keys. That's the deal. And now it's bled over. My N is having problems because he lives right under the H. And I'm like, oh, he's like H adjacent. So then when you punch the N, he sometimes doesn't come up. And I'm like, don't you fucking start. You know what I mean? Where I'm like mad at the keyboard and I like gonna backhand it and shit. Jesus.
I have two thoughts on this.
All right.
One is, how are they going to take the bad stuff out of your brain when they come to your house so you don't take that with you?
I'm hoping if there's some way I win the Powerball that I can do, there's some sort of, you know what? Again, I'll truthfully, like the Iggy Pop character, I'll just get the electroshock therapy and try to fry it out of my fucking skull.
I've considered that too.
Just make me a good consumer.
And now, and my second is, when are you going to transfer your stuff so you can get your H fixed before you have a whole TYUGJBN problem?
A full revolt. The only keys that will work will be the REVOLT so they can tell me what they're doing. The only word, I'll only be able to type the words trouble or revolt or elevert. I don't know. I don't know. That's the point. I need to do it, but I had one hard drive that was a straight backup to back up the shows.
Right.
Okay. That's the first terabyte hard drive I bought.
Okay.
Well, that got filled up.
Yes.
It got filled up.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, well, I need another terabyte to do it. And so I bought that terabyte. And then these issues are happening with the fucking computer. And like I said, I want to bring it to the geniuses, but I don't want them to see my photos and stuff because they do look at your photos. I don't care. Everybody can be like, well, I worked there. Bullshit. I read the fucking New York Times did a story on it. The New Yorker magazine did a story on it. They interviewed ex-Apple employees. They go, we absolutely look at all of your stuff and we take it. If it's good, we keep it. They just anonymously said, yeah, no.
What is keeping you from doing this?
All right.
Don't you have your porn categorized in folders appropriately?
It's not porn. It's more art. But so the point is I have all these whatever photos and stuff. And look, it's, it might not just be, it's a bunch of people. I don't even want to get into it. Whatever the fuck.
Can't you just plug that in and drag your photos over and then delete your photos on your hard drive?
Well, you say that. But that's why I bought the 5 terabyte, right? So I figured, you know what? I'll make the 1 terabyte. The second 1 terabyte will be the photo external hard drive, right? I'm like, that's all I need. And by the way, this 5 terabyte hard drive, I didn't buy this. This was given to me by the guy who bought my, listen to me. I'm not joking. I have nothing that's mine, that was ever mine. I have the kindness of strangers. That's all I have in my house. This couch was Kyle Dodson's. This chair was Mike Siegel's. This chair was Pat's. This cocktail bench is my ex-wife. This desk was Pat's. This laptop is from Michael. This one screen, I think I bought this screen, but I have 2 screens for my fucking Windows machine. The Windows machine was bought by Jeremy. My bed was from Jack. My dresser was from Jack. I got another desk from fucking Karen. I got 2 bookcases that were from John, my trainer. I don't know if I bought anything from a store in centuries. I have no fucking idea. Oh, my fridge is mine. My fridge is mine. So I have that. So it's just this thing where you're like, good Christ, I am an infant. I've been an infant for the longest fucking time.
I disagree completely. I hate spending retail money for stuff. I love it when people say, I have a couch I'm getting rid of. And I go, great, I'm going to give it a new life.
The office chair I'm sitting in is from Anne, this girl, listener Anne, who's wonderful.
It's amazing.
I have a table Paul Gilmartin made for me as a gift. I bought these lamps.
I feel so loved in that apartment.
This hutch was Karen's. Yeah, except for half these people aren't speaking to me anymore. So there must be something going on. That's a bit of an issue. The very fact that I had the kindness of strangers, and then they went back to being strangers. What did I do?
I don't think it was the kindness of strangers. It was the kindness of friends. Friends come and go.
Okay, well, they keep leaving behind things that keep me tethered to them and wondering why we're no longer friends. And I don't know, man. I don't know. But look, it's a lot of, this is a whole lot of fucking sitting in the dark going, what the fuck did I do, man? And also the very fact that now we're headed for nth number of life reboots again. And the sitting
I thought it
down,
was H numbers.
No, it didn't work. The end, I finally got the end to work for that. I couldn't type nth. I couldn't type that. I couldn't type the nth degree. I can't do it. Someone would be like, what's the T degree? And I'm like, I have no idea. Don't ask. Jesus, fuck. But you wind up doing all these different things and you think to yourself, all right, this is going to be okay. And then everybody's just fucking, I don't know, dude. What do I know? I don't know fucking anything. So the point is, Jeremy bought this 5 terabyte thing, and he's like, "Here's what you do. You just take." And again, because I knew what I wanted to do. Because look, here's the thing. I've done this before. Had to bring my laptop in, but you just brick it, and then you bring it in. You know what I mean? And then they do whatever they got to do, and then you come home and reboot it with your backup, right? But like, I didn't want to take the chance on bricking it again because it's a 2015 machine. Who knows what'll happen? Because also this machine, I have to keep it plugged into the wall. If I unplug this machine and I go like on the internet
so you need a new battery and you need your N fixed.
Yes, and the H
fixed.
Yeah. But
the H is under warranty, but you need a new battery.
Yeah, I need a new battery for sure.
Okay.
Because if I disconnect this from the wall, the power source.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be a full charge, and all of a sudden it just goes black. The screen goes black.
Mine used to do that too.
And the little battery with his little red ass comes on, and he's just like, well, sorry, and I'm like, fuck, dude, what? You're a full charge. And my phone was doing that for a while too until I updated the iOS. Like but still, the other day I was on my phone. It was a full charge, and I was somewhere for 2 hours, and it was at 33 by the time the end of the 2 hours. And I'm just like, Jesus, fuck it, what's going on here?
Turn some stuff off in the background.
I've done all that because I had to do it with my watch.
Then you need a new battery as well. How old is your phone?
Oh, I need a new battery because when you go in and you press the word that says battery in the little the settings house, it just says degraded. You need a new battery.
Yeah,
like
you
need
a
new battery right now. And I'm just
so for Christmas, you need 2 new batteries. And you need to take your computer in for its age.
All right, good. Is Santa listening? Is that what you're trying to pull here?
I don't know if Santa is listening, but I do know that Apple sells gift certificates, and you can email them.
No, quit doing this weirdness.
I'm not doing anything.
You are. People are very kind and generous to me, and I'm not going to accept anything. Nobody get anything.
I think that if 10 listeners sent you $10,
people always send me money. They bought me a fucking car. And here I am still,
I know.
And I haven't put out a show for 2 fucking weeks.
So what? You're putting on a show right now. Stop it.
But who cares? I didn't put out one for 2 weeks. So the people who bought me a car are like, fuck this asshole.
Okay, so if everybody sent him $5.
Nobody send me a fucking thing. Don't send me a fucking thing. Because I don't want. Mike, no, because this isn't a thinly veiled reference to be like, boo-hoo, I need money. Fuck that. Everybody needs money.
I just went, my friend needs a new battery. I got $5 on it.
Then you know what? Go to fucking work. Go to fucking work and get a new battery.
Well, are you going to work?
Oh, Christ. Well, yeah, but let me finish. Sorry. That's fine. So the point is, Jeremy sends the big terabytes. Like, I'll turn a 1 terabyte into the photos. So then I what you have to do is you have to grab your photos or whatever and pull them over to the terabyte. Well, first of all, there's like 40,000 or whatever the fuck. I don't know. So to just even scroll down takes minutes. But so I did that. And then I tried to drag it over. And then there's nothing worse than when you're doing something like that, because then the graphic is one piece of paper, just these little pieces of paper go, and it'll say 3 megabytes, 3 megabytes of 140 gigs, 4 megabytes, and you're just staring at it, and so you have to rectify in your brain. Your computer's down for 2 days.
No, it's not that long.
Okay. Well, it was down for a day, and it wasn't even 10 gigs had been transferred. The first time I tried it, and so I stopped it. I just fuck it. Because I can't. Because I have to use my computer. I can't. What am I supposed to do for 5 days? Nothing. And this was when. All right, let's put it this way. I probably went, well, I got to record a show at some point. I couldn't possibly tie up the computer, and then I stopped the photos, and I went, I'll record in a month. You know what I mean? It was just fucking awful. So whatever. So I bailed on it. And because it takes days to fucking transfer everything. And then I'm like, well, I could do it on a Saturday morning and just fucking do it and then use my phone. But then I also don't like the idea of my computer being, because what happens if because I will say this, have you ever done this before when you've done something and then at the end it'll say unable to complete fucking whatever the fuck, and it's been like a day and a half and you're like, what did you do?
Well, I do things in batches. When it's something this big, I'll open the folder.
I do too, and that's what I'm trying to get off my computer.
Yeah.
I have plenty of batches I'm trying to get off my computer.
Well, the other thing you could do is go through the photos and get rid of stuff. I mean, that's another option.
Well, that takes forever. Because I will say this too. I have tons of like multiple photos because I'll see them, and if I see them, I'll toss them. You know what I mean? But the problem is, I'll have like a photo from 2014, and then it's for some reason it's back in there in 2018. Like somehow I either downloaded it again or something,
and yeah.
Well, I don't know if I used it, but I downloaded it or whatever.
Apple has a thing where you can find duplicates too, and you can delete them that way, and you can. There's a lot of ways. Never mind.
You love Tim Apple. Yeah,
I don't love Tim Apple. I love the fact that when I get something done, like cleaning my silverware drawer, so that when I open up my silverware drawer, I can easily find a fork because it's not mingled in with my spoons and I have to hunt for a fork. My life is better when I have my tools in place so that I can use them. I can think better. I can work better. I can be happier. I still have the days where I can't get up and do anything at all and my laundry will back up. But the sense of accomplishment when I get one load of laundry done is still something that I have learned to say, good job, Lily. You got it done today.
I am in the same boat. I do the same thing when I do chores or laundry or whatever.
Yeah,
because I will hide in the recesses of the darkness. But then when I go out with earbuds on,
yeah,
and I go to the store shopping or I go run errands and stuff and I hear music, I feel like I could soar to the sun. I know it sounds ridiculous. Like all of a sudden it's this weird feeling of like, oh my goodness, look what I've done. And again, I told you but the problem is There are people who build barns with their hands. Okay. And then the next day they build another barn with their hands. 3 days won't do anything. And then I'll check the mail and I'm like, I am a champion. And I celebrate that I went and got the mail before the mailbox burst open under the weight of sale papers and election nonsense. You know what I mean? Like I'm thrilled for me that I was able to step up and make that move, when in reality, I've settled in everything virtually, you know, my entire life on things. And like I said, if someone's like, you know, hey, I can do that, I'm like, cool, awesome, you should do that. And then like, let me know when it's done. Bye. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, you know, that's the way to be. And to still be doing that a half of a fucking century, over a half a century into your life is just fucking grim, man.
Welcome
to
ADHD.
Fuck all that. I don't have
But again, that is part of the repetitive problems that you have in your brain when you have ADHD.
All right. Well, good.
It's why you constantly set dates, because I do it too. It's why I'm constantly like, I'll start this tomorrow. And if I don't start it tomorrow, I don't want to start it till the next day. But I have now gotten to the point of where I'm like, you don't get to win because I get to win. Because if I do this, I win. And so it's, you know, a lot of it is cognitive behavior changes because they will not give me my medication anymore.
See, but if I don't do this, I win.
But you don't, because then you get sad and then you're just like, God damn it.
I get to watch, I watch 4 movies and I'm like, yay.
You know what? You should pick a group of photos, transfer them over and watch a movie. And then when the movie's over, come back and pick another. Again, it is a combination of doing 3 things at once to accomplish something.
But now you're just a child at that point. Just do your fucking work and shut up. You know what I mean?
But again, not everybody can do their work that way. And that's what we're discovering more and more right now in this country is people who have non-standard behaviors are exhausted with trying to fake standard behaviors.
Well, you know what? Keep faking it. You want to be part of this fucking civilization?
Can't anymore.
Not talking to you. I'm talking to everybody else. Talking to everybody else.
They shouldn't have to either.
Yes, they should. Pull your weight. How dare you?
I have conversations with people and I have friends over and literally I look at them and I say, I have to go to bed now. I've really enjoyed seeing you and I'm sorry that it has to abruptly end like this and I love you, but I can't do life anymore.
Do you know why ancient Rome fell? Because all of a sudden there were just pockets and groups of people who were just like, hey, what if we just looked at the paintings on the walls instead of like making bricks or whatever the fuck? And then all of a sudden somebody stabbed Julius Caesar and everything was over because there was nobody there to do the hard work. And now that's what you're saying now. Everybody's like, oh, boo-hoo, I've got to sleep rather than work and do a job. And like, okay, well, then the country's
I disagree. They're just not being required to do it from 9 to 5.
I didn't mean any of that. You know, I'm saying shit to make you laugh. And I'm like, she's buying the ancient fucking Rome thing? Are you kidding me?
I don't know enough about ancient Rome.
I guess. Well, clearly I have the facts in line. There was a group of peasants who were like, let's look at the paintings, man. And then somebody stabbed, come on. I actually like that. I don't mind my lesson. That's fine.
I like your lesson too.
Sure.
And it all comes down to late stage capitalism.
Oh my goodness. I have to say something. Our friend Jason does, he recaps these shows and he puts them on the Joker's page. And that's another thing that's exhausting because it's amazing that he does it. I think I love it. And then I read it. And I'm like, God damn, I'm hysterical. And it'll be like one person liked it. And you're like, nobody likes me or cares about this at all. Except Jason, who takes the time to listen and compile, which is fucking incredible.
But again, that's not true.
What?
Because there are people who hear this that you never hear from.
Stop fighting with my skull. My skull knows it's true. All right. So, but he recapped the show. I don't know, the last one or the one before it. And you again with your capitalism fucking nonsense. And he literally he put what you said and he just wrote, Mike said, okay, Biko. And it made me laugh. Reading it made me laugh. Like I think I told you, and again, I apologize. Here's the part where I jerk off. Because I think I'm fucking hysterical. I think I'm great. But sometimes I'll be like, what's the point? Nobody else thinks so who cares? But I think I'm really funny. So when I see something like that, okay, Biko, and I remember saying it and I'm like, this is the funniest. It just makes me laugh so hard to do something so ridiculous and you know, dehumanizing essentially, but as a joke. And it makes me think of my buddy Murph, who listens to the show. He one time sent me a bunch of drops that he saved from the show. And to the point where I was actually going to try putting them in like sometimes, but that would require work. But I was going to put them in periodically, just to remember we used to do the 40-year-old boy blast from the past. When I used to work with Max and do stuff. So Murph had these drops, and one of the drops it's all me from the previous shows. And one of them is me telling the story of when fucking Karen brought home like a guitar or a violin or something. And I'm just going to say it. I'm telling you, I'm relating the story to you. This is a million years ago. And I said, she comes home and she's like, listen to this. I figured it out. Pling, 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 pling. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And she's like, pling, 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 pling. And I said, oh, if Jesus himself came to earth and turned death into music, it would sound like that. And she go and I said, and she says, you're mean. And I said, oh, you're terrible. And the drop is so great because it's just so, because you laugh, which is very nice, but just that, oh, if Jesus himself came to earth and turned death into music, it would sound like this. And she said, you're terrible. And I said, oh, come on. And she said, you're mean. You're mean. And I said, oh, come on, you're terrible. Face it, you're terrible, or something like that. And I'm just like, is there any wonder that I don't know where this woman lives? As I use her cocktail bench every day and her desk. It's terrible. What a fucking what. All right. So yeah, so my H and the N, they don't work. But again, a kind listener gave me this laptop. So I want to move the photos, but then it takes too long. It's like that thing. So I haven't even opened the 5 because the goal was, like I said, to make one of the 1 terabytes the photo backup and then make the 5 terabyte the overall backup from now on. You know what I mean? Like it would back up the shows. So then it would be more room for the shows. Because I told you the 1 terabyte is already full. And so now I've already made the second 1 terabyte the backup for the shows, when in reality it shouldn't be. What I want to do is back everything up onto the other one. Whatever.
Back everything up right now to the 5 terabyte and be done with it. Do a full backup, brick your machine, take it in, get it fixed, and come home.
No, because right now the 5 terabyte is pristine. You can't, it's so clean and nice. It's in a box. It doesn't have any function. It's so cool. And I know it's there. If ever something happens, if anything ever happens, I'm like, I've got this 5 terabyte hard drive. That's pretty cool.
There's a great meme going around about how when you were a kid and you bought stickers and you never used them because once you used them, they wouldn't be good anymore. And you had to make sure that they were in a special place. Yeah, you have ADHD.
Come on.
I understand. I have things that I can't use for that reason too, but I'm getting better at it.
Well,
that's the key.
I mean, I've told the story many times. It's like when I would have a newspaper every day. Like I would bring a newspaper to work, or I would bring a newspaper to school. And someone said, "Hey, can I read your sports section?" And I didn't want to say no because I would be a jagoff, a complete, what am I, a monster? And so I go, okay, yeah. And I'd give it to him, and then I would throw the newspaper away because they took all the information out of my sports section. I got to get a clean sports section so I can read all the words and the numbers the way they're supposed to be. And this guy didn't ruin them and take them out on his own.
Life
and do
is messy and it's really hard.
Yeah, and
it's really harder for some people.
Well, that was always the case, and I've always reminded me of this in To Live and Die in L.A. There's a scene where Willem Dafoe gives his money. He makes counterfeit money, and he sends his counterfeit money out on the street, and then there winds up being a bust, and he's like, I can't have it out right now. So he goes to get it back. And the guys he gives it to want to fight him. They're like, fuck you. You're not getting your money back. And then a wackiness ensues, and he winds up getting his money back. And then there's a scene where he's just naked. He's naked on one knee, and he's just throwing it into the fireplace at his house. It's, it's $50,000 in small bills. And his hot fucking girlfriend is in the bed. She's like, what are you burning it for? It's perfectly good. And he goes, no good to me after they handled it. And I'm just like, yeah, I relate to that in every fucking thing I do. No good to me after they fucking dealt with it. No good to me after it went through their hands. Fuck all that. Not interested. It's great. And it's how I felt about my newspapers. No good to me after they handled it. Fucking throw it out. You know why? Because I can afford 30 cents, you fucking jerk. Or 50 cents or whatever the fuck it was for a newspaper. Can I read your sports section? It's like those people bumming cigarettes. It's like, which is different though, because cigarettes are $20 a pack. Hey man, can I bum a cigarette off of you? No, you can't. You know why? Because I have a fucking life and a job. Go get a job and buy your own death.
Did you miss sharing is caring?
Cigarettes? You're just passing out fucking death at that point.
Everything.
I don't care about any of that or me. So yeah.
How do we get your H fixed?
I got to take it in. I got to fucking take it in. Oh, so I was telling you that, again, kindness of strangers. Everybody's incredibly nice to me, and they're very nice. So Aya wrote me again. She's like, I'll probably hear from you in April 2025.
Yeah.
I called her. Because I have her phone number from a previous, hey, Mike, call me at gmail.com. Hey, Schmitty, call me. And so I called her and I left like a 2-minute voicemail message because I'm incapable of just saying hi. But I'm like, hey, and I said, because she says, hey, this is Aya, and I really want to hear what you have to say. So leave it at the beep or whatever. And I said, Aya, it's Mike Schmidt. I called you Aya before. And then I actually sang the thing probably. And I went, so I got to apologize to you for that. And I said, but you wanted to be a technical director. I'm very interested in this. It sounds like something that's, I don't know what it entails. I have no money, but just so you know, whatever, I would be willing to listen, but whatever. I left a message.
When did you call?
6 days ago.
That's not a long time.
She wrote me 3 times. And just say, hey man, I'm interested. I would do this, whatever. And that's totally fine. I put her through the ringer by not answering her for a month or whatever the fuck. But then I called and I left a message. I go, whatever you want to do. I go, this is the number. Give me a shout or text me, whatever you want to. So now I realize it was a test.
It was not.
It was just a test to see. She's just like, all right, this guy even fucking like listen to any of this bullshit or I know he's reading them, but I guess I'll humor him and see if it's going to ever happen. But she's not. Maybe the only thing she wanted to do was, as a technical director, she wanted to teach me how to use the phone. I don't know. I mean, mission accomplished. Because I dialed you up, and I left a too long voicemail. But yeah. So I will say to you, and again, it's ridiculous to have this standard for other people. Because like I said, I won't read Facebook messages because then I have to answer them. I have people who've written me, this is truth. This is the disgrace of my life right now. This is truthful. I never, every year when people would wish me happy birthday or whatever on Facebook, I personally answered all of them.
Yeah.
When people would put that blanket, hey, you know what? Thanks for all the birthday wishes, you guys. You're great. I'm going to have some fucking sandwiches. I would personally write people because I felt if they cared enough to put the thing, then they would do it. And this year I did not. But also, I didn't answer anybody who wrote about my ma. The people who sent condolences and wrote things and stuff on my wall and all that, I didn't individually write to them or thank them or anything yet. And every day I think of it, every day I'm haunted by it, where I'm like, you still got to do those things. And for a while I was able to go, all right, you know what, man, you took some time. So now it's time to go back and say these things to people. But now we're 9 months later. You know what I mean? Like I could, you know what? Someone wrote me condolences about my ma and then fucked somebody and got pregnant that night. And they just had a baby and I still haven't thanked them. That's how fucking ridiculous I am.
Here's the thing about
people had condolences babies this month after writing me to tell me, because that's what you do. You say, hey man, I'm so sorry for your loss. You go out and you fuck like a fucking raging animal. You lock your fucking ankles behind somebody's fucking neck and you go to fucking work. And then 9 months later, you have a fucking baby. It's gorgeous because you were like, I'm a good person. I sent condolences. Let's bring another fucking child into the world. Done. And then here's me. Duh. I should have said thanks to you people, but I didn't. Duh. Hope your kid's fine. You know what I mean? I feel like a fucking idiot. But also, I didn't do that. I didn't reach out to people. So I didn't, again, but then because I think to myself sometimes, because there's the brain thing where I just go, well, these people don't really want to talk to me. Like they're being very nice and stuff. And I don't want to. And I've learned this is a codependent trait. Look, I do read. I understand. It's a thing where I go, where someone is like nice to me. And I go, I don't want to force them to continue being nice to me. So I'm just not going to engage with them because it's so hard for them to be nice to me. I don't know why that would be, I don't want to make them do all this performative bullshit. But in reality, they're like, I like you. Like you're like, I might love you even. You're pretty fucking cool. You're like, yeah, holster that instinct because there's absolutely no way you feel that way about me, clearly. And also, but then there's this that I talk about. Like, this is all people at home right now are just like boring. Shut the fuck up with your fucking, boo-hoo nonsense. And I get it. I understand that. So then that makes me not want to talk at all because I know people don't want to hear the boo-hoo bullshit. And sometimes that's all you got. Sometimes sometimes the cold water doesn't work and it's all fucking hot and that's what's running. But other times the hot water doesn't work and you're just running cold water and everything. And people are like, dude, this is fucking freezing. Shut the fuck up. It's a drag, man. I don't want to force people to listen to that. I don't want to force people to be friendly or nice. And so, like I said, with Ia, I'm this is truthfully, and again, we'll do what I can to work past this, but I'm being honest. She tried for a month to help me and I didn't engage her. And then I finally reached out and now it's been a week or whatever and I haven't heard from her. I don't want her help because clearly it was not a real offer. And I feel terrible that she felt that she had to do that. And then probably when I called, she was like, oh, fuck, this guy thought I meant this. And she deleted the email or the voicemail, and I don't blame her.
Your brain is a haunted house.
Well,
that is one of my favorite things that you ever said. And when we look into it, it is a graveyard of things that you tell yourself that aren't true, that you let hang out in there to constantly remind you and reinforce all of the things that you want to believe.
But you don't want to believe me. You want to believe the people that have love you and have your back and they're cool with it. But at the same time, I realize that couldn't possibly be the case.
If you were in therapy, what do you think your therapist would say about what you just said?
Well, I would never talk to her about it because I'd be talking about my ex.
That's right. Fix the problem you can't fix.
That's what I would do is I would just continue pushing the boulder up that fucking mountain.
Do you think that for 1 minute you didn't write her and didn't write her and didn't write her so that you could wait long enough to write her so that you could reinforce that she didn't really want to help you?
Yeah, because she probably did what I do, where she was like,
I think that she said, hey, this would be great. And then you wrote her at the beginning of December leading into Christmas on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you wrote her on a Thursday right before a weekend where she's like, oh, I have plans this weekend. Oh, gosh, I'll give him a call Monday or Tuesday of next week. Oh, things got really tough at work. And she's probably going to call you tomorrow. And
you've made this you made a leap I would never make. Like
what?
You said that you believe that she was still interested when I called.
I believe she is.
Right.
And
that's the leap you're making. The leap I'm telling you is that after the 3 times she wrote me, she went, fuck this guy. Not interested.
I disagree.
And then I called her and she was like, what the fuck? This guy's seriously bothering me? And she fucking deleted it. She's like,
when people tell you who they are, believe them. And she said, I am a person who is here who wants to help you. And I will be here when you're ready to get help. And then when you finally reached out, your expectation is if she doesn't answer right now, it's because she didn't really mean it. Instead of saying, I believe she wants to help me. And as soon as she is back to being able to volunteer for me, she's going to write me.
When people tell you how they are, believe them. And I'm telling you that I am someone who can't be helped.
Wow.
Literally and figuratively. Whether it's an independent project with this podcast or just dealing with what every wraith that swirls around inside the bone matter I call a skull.
I hate you're that funny. It is beautiful.
Oh, sure.
I have missed talking with you.
Oh, my goodness. You're the only one. I don't. So there. So she reached out and then I wrote her and then. And I don't. And here's the thing, though, this is the thing. Like, I'm not. Here's when you're a psychopath. If you're mad at that, like if you're upset or you're pissed or you're furious or you're whatever, if you don't own your part of it, I own my part completely. I don't. Yeah. I don't blame her for not wanting to talk to me anymore. I don't blame her for rescinding the offer. I don't blame her for not being interested in contacting me or even listening to this fucking show anymore because she reached out and tried 3 times.
But again, she didn't respond to you, so you immediately have gone to, she hates me like everyone else hates me and I'm done.
Well, nobody really hates me. I think they find me a bit much. I think I'm kind of a pill. You know what I mean? And people are just like, it's that thing where if you keep trying to, all right, if you have a dog and you're trying to train this dog, right? And you're like, all right, sit up. And he won't sit up. And you're like, sit up. And he won't sit up. And then for 13 years, you keep telling him to sit up. And then he doesn't sit up. And you're just like, well, you know what? Fuck this dog. It's ridiculous. And then you walk away And the dog sits up and go, hey, I'm fucking great. Check this out. Look what I'm doing. And they're like, I tried 13 fucking years. Why didn't you do this 8 years ago? You're like, well, I did, but you weren't around or whatever the fuck. Or I did it and then I stopped and then I had a reason I couldn't do it again. You know what I mean? It's people are bored with it. They're after 13 years.
I don't.
Everybody. I'm not talking about look, let's extrapolate from her. I'm talking fucking everybody at this point. Again, I see my numbers. I know what I did to this show. I know I took a fucking wrecking ball to it by not doing it and paying attention and fucking withdrawing into myself. I know it. You know, and also,
but you're here now,
and so who cares?
I
Nobody. Do. Fine, I'm glad you're lovely.
I'm the one.
You and me. I care too because here's the thing: if this is the show I'm going to do people want to listen to it? That's what I'm saying. It's like if there's a thing where I'm this deep self-analytical dive into fucking shit that I haven't fixed for 13 years, or people just like, man, this fucking dude, he just can't stop, won't stop. But the thing I can't stop is not stopping. I think that's the name of a movie, I believe. You know, I Can't Stop, Never Stopping, or whatever the fuck, right? Isn't that Lonely Island movie? I think it was.
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to them.
Well, you know, it's funny. Like I agree. I know what you're saying because they're a young person's gambit.
I don't find that humorous. I don't find that humor funny.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's the way people are like, I don't like the Three Stooges. I'm like, they've done a couple things that are interesting in Lonely Island and a couple things I laughed at, but the majority of it is just the same thing over and over again.
I don't know who doesn't like the Three Stooges, and
I like the Three Stooges, but there are other people who don't. So again, let people like what they like. I'm not familiar with enough of their work.
Why are we just, you know what? Wasn't it better when we could browbeat people into liking the shit we wanted them to like? Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't better for the people who were browbeaten.
Well, then you know what? Then fucking get a spine, baby, and recognize that you're wrong if you don't like the things that we like. That's the problem, man. You know, fucking all the nerds took over and they fucking destroyed everything. And then like now they're the mainstream guys. Like it used to be some fucking guy would be like, I like Iron Man, and then you'd push him in a locker and everything would be fine. You're like, all right, go like Iron Man in the dark. Now Iron Man runs the world. You're like, what the fuck? Why is Iron Man doing all this shit? It's fucking crazy. I don't get it. And I like Iron Man. I got no problem with Iron Man. But now they got like an Iron Man musical, an Iron Man fucking macaroni, an Iron Man bullshit. You're like, what the fuck, man? Marvel, what did they just announce? And I was just like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? They got their movies and all their bullshit, whatever the fuck. And I'm not going to go to the Marvel tube either because then people are like, oh my God, shut up. But again, this is from a guy who literally just watched War Crimes as a film and just sat there devastated by it, but then has been recommending it to everybody. You got to check this out. And they're going to watch it and they're going to see like, you know, a human skull and they're going to be like, what the fuck is going on with you? And I'm like, what? It was great. It's like when I like Requiem for a Dream. It's like I like adult, grown up, fucking miserable stuff. I just do. I can't like comedies. Like someone the other day was like, "What comedies are good to watch?" And I'm like, I don't fucking like. All right, like this is our dumb society. I'm just gonna say this. I just saw today. Not even kidding. They were like, "Oh my God, Jason Momoa and John Cena are teaming up for an action movie called Killer Vacation." I'm just like, is this a parody? Like, is this? And look, I loved Peacemaker with John Cena. Jason Momoa is a terrific actor, but I will say this: the other day I watched Aquaman with the sound off, which is a long story. And I know you got to go because believe me, I would love to fucking go into it.
Is that part of your porn catalog?
Yeah,
Aquaman with the sound off?
Just fucking yanking it.
Because I got to tell you, I'm in for that one.
Boy, it just, and I watched it with the subtitles, with the fucking whole bit. And it didn't help that I was in a room that smelled like urine, but I'm watching it, and I had to watch the whole fucking movie, man. The whole fucking movie I had to watch. And with the scent of urine wafting through my nostrils and constantly being bothered by people. They were coming up and talking to me. People I barely talk to my friends. Like I said, I don't answer. Good, kind-hearted people send me missives and I don't answer them. I got to deal with this guy with mismatched socks. Get the fuck away from me, man. Stop bothering me. What the fuck? But it happened. I had to deal with it. So to escape, that's how bad the situation I was in. How bad of a situation I was in. I actually watched Aquaman with subtitles and the sound off. And then I'm watching it, and I'm also watching it in a room full of people who love Aquaman, who think he's a genius or whatever the fuck, because they'd be like, they're talking like yelling across the room about, oh yeah, you know, they're going to make the second one, and then they've got a third one. I'm like, who cares, man? It's fucking Aquaman. It's garbage. And I'm watching it on the screen unfold, and it is garbage. There's a scene where, there's a fight under the ocean, whatever the fuck, shockingly, with Aquaman. And some dude rolls up on another dude. It's like the crabs against the sharks. It's like fucking Oceanside Story. I mean, it's so fucking bad. And it's these, I'm not even joking, but literal crabs. Guys dressed like crabs in their crab armor and guys in shark armor. And they're having a dumb fight. And the king of the sharks comes over and he cuts off the crab's pincher and he holds his trident over his neck. And he's like, if you surrender now, we will consider ending this war or whatever. And the crab is like, what are the conditions of surrender? Whatever the fuck, king, whatever. And he just goes, don't call me king. Call me. And again, I'm not hearing this. I'm reading it on the screen. The words are appearing. He goes, call me. And in my brain, I'm just like, what, king of the water? What is he going to say? And he just goes, Ocean Master. And I was like, ha ha ha! Like I laughed in the fucking place, and people looked at me because again, this is not a happy place. There's nobody laughing. Everybody's miserable because there's needles and fucking blood and bullshit. And so, sure enough, I just like, ha ha! And they look at me, and I was just like, Ocean Master, and they're like, oh, yeah, this is the big fight. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I didn't want to talk to you a second ago. But and then there's a fight, and then like Nicole Kidman comes out of the ocean, and all I could think of was like, Nicole Kidman has been in actual movies. Why is she in a stupid comic book where she has to wear a flowing dress and she's the queen of the water? What I mean, how embarrassing is it for these people to say this dialogue and do these things? And it repivoted me in a way where, like I told you, I like superhero movies, but I'm a little fatigued on them or whatever. But it made me look at it as I watch it with like no sound. And one of my beefs also is like all the fights deteriorate into just pixel fights. It's CGI fights. There's no one-on-one, whatever the fuck, and it's all crazy. But this movie was the worst ever because I don't have a rooting interest between the crabs or the sharks. I don't know the backstory except for what I've seen. And also that thing where like this is the fight for to rule the ocean, I suppose, whatever the fuck. And in it, like Amber Heard is like, she's Aquaman's like fucking lover. And in the middle of the fight, she swims out and just gives him a big kiss and like wraps a leg around his waist. And they do the camera circling around it like it's this big romantic moment. And I'm like, they're fish people. Who fucking cares, man? Get fucked. I'm supposed to care that they love each other in the middle of the fucking Great Ocean War? Go home. Get the fuck, grab a trident and start stabbing people or get the fuck out of here because we got to win the ocean war or we won't be able to kiss anybody ever. So then she goes back into the fucking ocean house and Willem Dafoe shows up and I'm like, how are you here? You got an Oscar. But he shows up and he's been in a million movies. He's the Green Goblin. He's all these, and again, he's just taking any project that comes across. He's the new Nicolas Cage. Like I said, Nicolas Cage's next movie should just be, hey, I bought a castle. Like literally, that's why I did this shit. So Willem Dafoe is there and he's all bug-eyed, but then Nicole Kidman comes out of the ocean and it's this pivotal moment where Aquaman is fighting another guy, but it might be his brother. It's his half brother. And then Nicole Kidman comes out and Patrick Wilson is the other bad guy. And he's like, mother? And she's like, you're both my sons. And they flash to Dafoe and Amber Heard. And Dafoe, apparently, because Kidman's not supposed to be there. She died or disappeared. And he's like got bug eyes. And Amber Heard goes, yeah, kind of a long story. I'll tell you later. And swims away. What do you mean you'll tell me later? The Queen of the Ocean just showed up. We thought she was dead. She's stopping the Great Ocean War fight on some buoy or whatever the fuck. And you're going to go and literally just, yeah. And just that shorthand dialogue that says underwritten, you know what I mean? And I don't expect her to go, forsooth, it is the Queen of the Waves, whatever the fuck. But she just goes, she literally looks at fucking Dafoe and she's just like, yeah, kind of a long story. We could have written it into the script clearly. We could have given you some sort of update, or I could go ahead and break it down for you. But instead, I'm going to swim away. Kind of a long story. I'll tell you later when we're not filming. Zoom disappears. Awful, awful. And made an awful experience awfuler. Like what I was going through was bad where I was. It wasn't bad until like fucking end, whatever the fuck. But just sitting there, just pondering, waiting, and then to watch this movie, it was so bad. And even worse was the guys who loved it next to me. Can't wait to make the third one. You know, they're making Venom 3. You're making Venom. You're excited about Venom 3? All right. Are you dead yet?
I am.
All right. You're very nice to do this with me. And
I love doing this with you. Thank you for having me back.
And please know, everybody, I didn't not do it because she wasn't here. I don't.
Stop making excuses or explaining things out. Nobody is mad at you.
People give me money. I owe them an explanation for why they didn't get a fucking show.
They're not mad at you because something happened and it didn't happen. They're supporting you because they want you to succeed. That's it. Let them support you.
Good fucking luck.
All right.
You're very nice. Thank you. And if you're around next week or whatever, you just, give me a shout if I'm still around.
My jaw hurts from laughing so hard.
These are all convenient lies to get out of doing the rest of this show. But you're lovely. Aren't. You're very nice. All right. Well, thank you. Take care, and good to see you. I hope you're okay.
It's always good to see you.
All right. Take care.
All right.
If there's anything I like more than me, it's people who like me. I love me, but if you love me, I love you. 'Cause you know why, we both love me. How great am I? Let's talk about that for a while, and by a while, I mean forever.
Hi there, I'm Jimmy Pardo, host of the award-winning podcast, Never Not Funny. It's a show that's been described as hanging out with friends you never knew you needed. Well, each week I get together with my co-host, Matt Belknap, and great people from the worlds of comedy, Broadway, music, TV, movies. You get the point. Hey, Matt, give me some examples of who we've had on.
Oh my God, Jimmy, we've had comedy legends like Conan O'Brien, Amy Poehler, and Sarah Silverman, Hollywood royalty like Rob Reiner and John Hamm, and members of classic rock bands like Styx and Kiss.
Hey, Never Not Funny's been around since 2006, so we must be doing something right. So why not join our nonsense each week? Never Not Funny,
the fastest hour in podcasting.